Whoa, welcome, friends, to Clobby'S Clubhouse. Clobby'S Clubhouse. And
Hello. I can't do the we.
We have
Raquel's got that copyrighted.
You got that copyrighted. You probably won't get a claim on that one.
I'm going to get a claim on that one because I'm not the first person to ever weed.
Indeed, many of us like to weed all the time. Not me, but I know people who do. Clobberin times 261 on YouTube, but 961 overall. Hello, my friends. Clobby'S Clubhouse number. Okay, I forgot the number, but it is a number. It's number 9. 9. Wow,
nice.
There we go. Welcome, of course, to my wonderful first officer, R.M. Briggs, and the great chief engineer, Mark D. with a C. Thank you for joining me, my good friends.
Good evening, Captain.
Good evening. Thank you.
Welcome to the bridge.
Good evening, chief engineer.
The word is given.
It is.
Warp speed. Let's see, a couple of show notes real quick, and then we'll say some hellos. I've got my new Spitterack Time Machine video is up and running. I was a little day late with it. It has my horrible voice on there, and I'm sorry, everyone, but it's just about dead. But I got that, and then, of course, well, I forgot to put the picture up. Oh, well. Saturday Night Star Trek, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll get the pic up there. I just forgot about it. And so, and before we say our hellos, I would love for my first officer to tell us a little bit about her wonderful literary works.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. I write science fiction short stories, folks. They're on sale at Amazon. They're like 74 cents American a piece. If you like H.G. Wells, Philip K. Dick, if you like comics, short stories, you might like them. And I appreciate your support. And I love every single person who has left a comment, read the stories, and left a comment. Wow, especially like Enigmatic Drop Bear and J-Man and just all of you. You have shown me so much love and support, and the fact that you genuinely love these stories is just blowing me away. I'm having so much fun with you. And so thank you so much for your support. You can find them again at Amazon or on your Kindle device under R.M. Briggs. Love you guys. Thank you.
There is the link in the chat, and also for anyone listening later, there's a link in my description below. Absolutely. And, of course, a link to the channel of our great chief engineer, Mark D. with a C, who dropped the video today.
At the same time as you.
Yeah, we should check with each other, dude. I would have been there to yours. I didn't even know you had one.
No, that's okay. I was in both places at once. You can do that on the internet. So what had happened was, I think using StreamYards, you can do an announcement. So as soon as I saw yours was 5 o'clock, I said, well, let me make mine 5:30 because I figured that would be enough, enough time. Yeah. And then I went on YouTube and changed it. It said, scheduled for 5:30. But I guess because of the, the announcement, it was saying you have to change the announcement, but the announcement already, whatever.
It still won't let you do it. StreamYards.
It wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me change the time. So that wasn't intentional. But it was pretty. We crossed the streams, and that.
Sorry,
but you're not supposed to do it.
But I didn't even know yours was on at all.
No, because I did it. I did it last minute. I've had these these toys, the Borg cube and sphere that I showed on the last Clubhouse, and I'm like, I gotta hang these back up on the ceiling. So
way to go, you guys!
Desk. I'm like, I just gotta do this damn video. So I just went on and did 10-minute recording, and so I was gonna do 4:30. So I'll just do 5 o'clock.
Look at what you did to 6. Look at this. Like 6 is getting in on this conversation between you and Clobby. She says, I couldn't figure out why both of you were live at the same time.
We're having a competition.
Nice job, guys.
I didn't even get the notification on yours, though. I don't know how you even knew mine was up unless you just saw it, like you said.
Well, then I went to check. I went to check, or I saw it on Twitter. Is actually how I see most of the notifications. Like Steve Mitchum never gets any of the notifications either, so I gotta remember to send him one. Or if he ever gets on the Twitters, now that the CEO is out, maybe he'll join up. But if you're not on Twitter, you miss a lot of things too. Or the best thing I'd find is like if you're on YouTube, just go up to the bell on the top right, and then just see who's, what your notifications are there manually. Just click that bell and it'll list you. Like right now it says, Clobberin Times is live. So,
well, yeah, I got you. No, it's just one of those things. It still never works though, but let's say some hellos first before we continue.
Sure, yep.
Friends. The great Snortapoopas Cubers.
Cuber.
The lovely Sherry.
Hello, Sherry.
Absolutely, and looking lovely tonight, I must say, Sherry. Thank you so much for being here. Snortapoopas, you're looking lovely too. Then I'm going to leave you out. But in this case, we're just saying it. Sherry actually does. So sorry, dude.
Yes.
Kal-El, buddy, what's up?
Hey, Kal-El.
The lovely Six. Hello there, Six. Good to see you.
Six.
Let's see here. Hungry boy. Excuse me. Hungry for big burgers. Oh boy.
Mwah, mwah,
Well, who isn't? I know there are more. Oh, hey, Deceptor Sean 77. Sean, what's up, dude? Good to see you, brother. The great Chris Persia, master of all that is French Canadian.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you. So happy you're here.
You're the man, buddy. Good to see you. Steve Mitchum, brother, what's up?
Good evening, Maddie's daddy. If Maddie's there, please smooch her face for me.
Good to see you there, brother. The great Stuart Mitchell. Dolly had braces.
Dolly had railroad tracks.
And braces. Oh, sorry.
She could pick up FM radio on her face.
Yes.
We love you, Stuart.
It was even AM, actually. So. Let's see here. Who else we got?
Hey, J-Man's here. J-Man just walked through the door.
J-Man, what's up, brother?
I was just talking about you. Were your ears burning? I was just talking about what a wonderful person you are and how much fun it has been to share my stories with you and just how fabulous you are. I love you. Thank you.
And I was just making fun of you for liking Rob Liefeld, but
okay.
I wasn't really, J-Man, but I am now. Just kidding, buddy. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see here. That's all we got as far as I think I hit everyone, but anyone who pops in, we'll say hello to them. Welcome to Clobby'S Clubhouse, everybody. We are here, and I would say we're ready to get going, but I don't even know what we're going to get going on. We got I know one. All right. Phantom Outsider's not here, but this was kind of for his surprise. Last night I teased it, and he wondered why I showed. I did my new spin rack time machine. It took me 2 days to make this. It always takes 2 days to make these.
Yeah.
Show today, video today, and one of the comics I chose was Primus.
Oh wow!
Is that written by Minimus?
You know who?
Oh my god! Oh no!
Robert Brown.
Oh no!
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh no!
But sans beard though. Sans beard.
Yes, I did a little research. Basically, and anyone remember the Lloyd Bridges series, Sea Hunt?
Yeah, I remember that. Ivan
Torres produced that show. He was asked right in the early 70s. The FCC lifted some restrictions, and they allowed like these companies to make lower budget syndicated TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they hired him to make a sort of like almost a rip-off of his own show, in a sense, of Sea Hunt, called Primus. And Charlton did a comic adaptation of it. Adam West was on an episode. Susan Oliver was on an episode.
What?
Yep. And of course, it didn't last long. But Robert Brown from Here Comes the Brides, and of course, the alternative factor was the title character.
My favorite, as everyone knows.
Yep, your favorite episode. So I thought that was fun. When I saw that amongst the comics that came out that week, I had to put it on my list.
Amazing.
Well, TMF had some great lines when we did the alternative factor, and then didn't he change his name to Lazarus's beard or Toxic?
He had
Lazarus's
all kind of
beard
Makini Draws. Hello there, Makini Draws. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey.
He had all kind of them. He had all kind of names. Oops.
And Lazarus kept falling. Lazarus kept falling from it. He was like, he's great at falling on things. How many times did he fall in that episode? Like 5 or 6 times.
That episode sucks.
It's the worst. It is the worst episode in the history of Star Trek.
I may have to actually disagree with that a little bit. We've been watching a lot of Next Generation garbage lately.
Well, Remember Me is right up there.
Oh man, I've seen a lot of them that are right up
plus
there.
Plus, the characters are written so badly too. Like Kirk is an a-hole in that show, and the characters are like snapping at each other, and it's just. And then Lazarus is just walking around the Enterprise like no security.
Yeah.
You know? It's like poorly written and poorly directed. Everything about it is bad too. It's not just sometimes you have like a story you say, oh, that's kind of bad, but the character and wasn't that episode Spock was also a jerk in that episode
Everything
too, yelling
was really
at people. Yeah.
Pretty off about it. It was pretty terrible.
Yeah. It was off. Yeah. The characters are written poorly.
It's tough for me to it is an absolute garbage. I'm not sure if it's my most hated episode of the original series, but compared to some of the ones in the next gen, maybe it is. Maybe it's the worst one. I mean, it's the worst one. What is worse?
I don't know. Code of Honor sucked pretty hard.
Yeah, but just on Real Track though. I don't know. Is it really worse than And the Children Shall Lead? I mean,
And the Children Shall Lead.
That's up there too.
That's right up there.
Down there.
Yeah, that's the stink of all stink. That's when you got to call in the Club Oni.
Mr. Angel, I hope you're feeling better, Chef.
Hey, Mr. Angel. Good evening, Chef.
Good to see you. Yeah, Primus. The title screams aquatic adventure. Very intuitive.
Right?
What surprised me was that Joe Staten, man, had an early Joe Staten art in it. I was never the biggest Joe Staten fan, and I knew he'd worked for Charlton. But again, I'd seen this comic before at some point or other. But so I've never seen the interior of it though. So
anyway, the cover looks like so loose.
He looks like Donald. He looks like Donald Trump a little bit from a distance, doesn't he? Is that just me?
Well, he does not in the picture, not in the small pictures, but the one when he's standing there. Yeah, the full body.
I thought that was Donald Trump for a second. Yeah.
Yes, you're fired. And you got me. All new stories, all new art.
TV's latest.
Hungry Boy says, I have a fondness for it, Raquel, because Lazarus reminded me of a loony extra from Jesus Christ Superstar. Wow. That's actually so accurate. It's terrifying. That it does. He does look like an extra from Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yep.
Right.
Now I want to see the Adam West episode. And
never heard of that show. Never heard of that show.
The only thing I could find on YouTube was like a couple of minutes of like a little bit of like a commercial, like an opening from it or something. It was really not much.
Guess who just walked through the door, Captain?
D-Bud.
D-Bud Martin is here. Good evening, fine sir.
D-Bud, I do mention that in the follow-up video. No, I didn't put it on the list. I was talking about comics that came out week 1 of December 1971 for my spinner rack. But yes, I saw the Bobby Sherman comic. And the David Cassidy #1.
Oh, David Cassidy.
Which, if you have a copy of it, D-Bud, I want to see it.
Oh, boy.
We want the proof, yep. I saw David Cassidy in Vegas years ago. And he got mad at the audience, too, for not being into it. Like, at one point, he's like,
really?
Come on, people. What are you doing here? Get up and, and it was kind of everyone was like, we got free tickets. That's why we're here.
Did he sing I Think I Love You?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. No, he gave a good, for what it was a good show. But
and all the newlyweds and nearly deads are sitting there. Yeah. I was just walking down the street and somebody handed me these tickets. I don't even know who the F you are.
And I'm a big New York Yankees fan, and they're playing San Diego that year. And, I'm like, I got to miss the, part of the World Series for David Cassidy. And my wife is a Red Sox fan. She's like, yes, you are. So she had no sympathy there. The Yankees swept that series.
Was she a Partridge Family fan or something?
Well, you're in Vegas. So you're like, what do we do? You go to, like we're staying in the hotel. It's like, we'll go to the show or whatever. So it wasn't horrible, but. I've seen Star Trek Discovery. So
did it make you happy?
Make you happy? Yeah. Whole lot of love, and that's what we'll be bringing.
Yeah, right.
I love that bus, by the way.
Yeah, the
Troy Pacelli, what's up? What's up, brother? Good to see you.
He's late. Up, your agonizer, please.
Jackson stuck on my dartboard. #1. How many issues did that run, D-Bud? Any idea? And they were doing a Partridge Family comic at the time, Charlton and 6. I believe you mentioned in my chat today earlier that you knew someone making a documentary about Charlton comics. I've been hearing about that Charlton Bullseye documentary for years. I want to see that if it ever gets finished. Cool.
J-Man says the Partridge Family is great.
Yes.
Everyone needs a little bit Danny Bonaducci.
You know, he and Dave Madden, he and Ruben, they were actually the funniest characters on the show. The Danny and the manager.
The manager is funny.
Yeah, Ruben, yeah. Everybody else
Ruben.
was the straight man, straight woman, but they were funny.
The ginger and the sandwich.
Yeah.
And Susan Day was on the Partridge Family too, right?
That was lovely.
Sure was.
Yep. Or L.A. Law, right?
Yes, I was just going to say before you
That's
put
right.
on
Law
LA
or the boss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was a huge. I mean, plus I think too back then we only had a few channels, so and everyone was watching. You know, you had millions and millions of people watching. So my generation was Happy Days was probably the most popular show when you're younger. But you look at the numbers. I'm just guessing, but you had 20 million people watching a show because there were 3 networks in the U.S. and that was it. So and everyone was talking about it. So everything is so fractured today. Like just talking to people on YouTube, sometimes people mention shows that are even kind of recent shows, like Black Matter. Have you seen it? Like never heard of it? What do you mean?
Dark Matter, you mean? Yeah.
Dark Matter. See, there I go. Yep, Dark Matter. Yep, there you go. That was a quick. Yeah. So, but you miss. There's just so much to watch now. It's so much to do. So.
It's a shame because, and we also don't have commercials, and commercials used to be this marvelous art form. And they used to be these gorgeous, where you would learn all these different jingles and you'd be laughing at the jingles and you'd have they could create earworms. I mean, not all of the commercials were good, but many of them were. And you would be singing them in your head. And these were ways that we could communicate our cultural credit or our cultural status or just even celebrate our culture. It was through these jingles and these shows that we all watched together. And now it's just no one has that currency to share anymore. And I think it's rather sad. I think it's hysterical. When I think it was in high school where everyone here was all of the teenagers and the young adults were singing Leon's "Don't Pay a Cent" event, and I remember being in school and the entire gym erupting and with 400 high schoolers singing this furniture commercial, and it made all of the adults laugh. When everyone was done, it was very spontaneous. Everyone just started laughing, and we don't have that anymore, and it's really sad. I miss all that stuff.
Absolutely. Yep. Max, what's up, buddy?
He's saying he loves Superman 2 is also a classic.
We will have to discuss that one night in depth. Now, last night, by the way, a big shout out and thank you to the wonderful Bionic Belly Button. Indeed. I love her, but she did make a startling confession, and we only picked on her about it a little bit.
What?
She's never seen Superman the movie from Christopher Reeve.
What? Yep. Oh, Bionic Belly, Cammy, what's wrong, honey? I love you, Cammy. Cammy.
Clobberin times almost stopped the show and made her watch it. No, just kidding.
No, I did advise her on which version to watch and stuff. So. But yeah, again, I don't know how you get past. Well, she's young compared to me, but she's not exactly a millennial either. And she's not in a contemporary. I'm not calling her old. She's very young.
Yes,
but she has kids and everything. So I don't know how you don't see that movie.
Well,
But if you're listening out there, Bionic, we love you anyway, and we
love you, Cammy.
We forgive you.
And now the chat is exploding with "Where's the beef?" Yeah,
Yeah, where's
and
the beef? Yeah.
wasn't that a wonderful little cultural currency for such a long time? I mean, you had the double entendre, so you had the sexual innuendo that went with it if you were, making a joke in a bar room, or you could, laugh at how tiny the burger patty was when you were at the fast food joint,
Yeah.
or you could, where's my money? When somebody owed you money, where's the beef? And moments like that, everyone, they're all gone, and it's so sad, isn't it? We used to really, really enjoy that stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, because I've mentioned this before, but in my dorm at college, in the same dorm, we had Mikey from Life Cereal. Mikey likes it, right? He likes it, right? So
Really?
which is everyone even knows, right? John Gilchrist
Captain
was on the
Cockney,
first
what's
floor.
up, buddy?
And on the second floor, we had the kid from the Mean Joe Green.
Wow.
Tom
Dude,
Ocon.
that's right. You told me about that one.
Yeah, Tom Ocon was the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he'd had the football, and back then I'm like, oh, Tom, let's take a picture with the football. Like, he just had it in the dorm room. It was signed by all the Steelers, and he had the jersey. But at one point, not at school, but at one point, some of his stuff had gotten stolen, and they sent the team, sent him a new one or whatever. But but those are iconic commercials. Like even today, people, you mention that because they're shown, but and the Coke, like the holiday commercial, I'm not going to try to sing, but
Coke
have
and
a Coke
smile.
and a smile. Everyone knows that
Coke
one.
and a smile.
Or that I'd like to teach the world
The world to sing. Yeah.
Wasn't that
Oh
beautiful?
yeah.
And
That was.
the thing is too is that I think this also hurts the film industry and the television industry, even if it is streaming now. It's all slurring
Yeah.
around in this gross petri dish we call streaming. But I mean, that was a way for people coming up in the industry to hone their skills. It was a way to make marketing beautiful. It was a way to create art before you were ready to really create art and have a big budget behind you, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. What a dumb thing we did by getting rid of all of that. It was such a wonderful thing in our culture.
Yeah, it was a common thread. I think didn't John Denver write jingles? There was a Barry Manilow, or a couple of famous people.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember, like started just writing commercial jingle, and it's just the same amount of talent, I think, to come up with a song that's popular, and maybe it's even tougher because you got to catch someone within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's right.
You got to have the music written.
And you did it by charming them, not by nowadays, this attention economy that we have online. It's like these corporations use other corporations to, splash this bucket of water all over you, and you're immersed in it, and it's rather fetid smelling, and it's against your will, and and you don't know if they're hitting on the psychographics or on the demographics. They don't know anything. They're just making sure that they inundate us with these sloppy, cheap, and terrible ads that we merely glance at in the periphery of white space. And before, like I said, we had art. At least we had art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like the TV show openings too are truncated now too, because I know I'm sure most people don't like the new Magnum PI TV show. But as an example, the shows are shorter. So I think they're 42 versus 45, or they used to be 50 minutes the shows. So the writers are complaining. Yeah, they got to truncate the show. And then you listen to Magnum PI, theme is fantastic. One of the great TV themes, and they got to chop it up to be like in 20 seconds. Like, you guys, you butchered the song. I mean, it's not their fault, but they don't have enough time. Like, because that builds, right? You can't build the song.
And I'm a nerd, and so I'm all about books, and I come from a completely different culture than geeks do. Geeks they're different than nerds. And I was really taken aback when Clobby started talking about the different formulations for introductions on television shows. And certainly it makes sense, and I notice it, but it's not something I've ever studied. It's not something I've ever put time to. But I really love that just very nonchalantly in a private conversation the three of us were having, I think, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks ago, Clobby was like complaining. He was like, yeah, what happened to that long form introduction? Oh, yeah, that's right. We were talking about the production
The opening
values
credits
and the production
opening intro. Yeah.
Yes,
Intros.
for YouTube videos and how that compared to television. That's what we were talking about. Anyway, Clobby complained about it, and I loved that he broached this idea that there was like an essay, there was a long form introduction to television shows. Did you want to speak to that for a second, Clobby? I hate to put you on the spot, but I just love that you brought that up.
Because I do like that subject. But Oliver, I hate the Lester version very much, regardless of the cut. I love a lot of the Donner cut except for the ending, which very not in the not too distant future, and I don't mean next on the AD. I'm hoping that to do a deep dive on the Donner cut with someone. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I have a lot to say about the Donner cut, Oliver. But thank you for that question, and it's very complicated, but I do think it's far better than the Lester cut until the ending, just to put it in a nutshell. But sorry, go ahead and continue. Because I do think shows suffer from not having the long openings with the, either a teaser before or whatever, when they have, with a great theme song and the clips to give you sort of a feel for the show. Combined with a great theme song. That's a lost art in TV. A lost art, I think.
It really is, and I think that it's cool that geeks talk about that stuff. I think it's just wild that geeks even have that culture where they talk about these films, they talk about commercials, they talk about the way these things are set up, the length of them, the content. I think it's marvelous. It's almost like nerds studying books, nerds studying the written word. I think it's really super cool. And the second that you mentioned it, Clobby, I was thinking to myself, I like that long form stuff too. I don't know what diction to use. I don't know the vocabulary behind it because I've never studied film or television making. But it is really nice when you have that really long entrance to Miami Vice, when you've got that really long entrance, like the introduction to these shows, it's really immersive and it really makes you feel like you're a part of something cultural. And of course now, no one could even sit still for that. People change the channel.
All of the most memorable shows, whether it's from the golden age of television, whether it's from later in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, if it's a show that is very memorable to you, you will remember the opening theme.
Yeah,
you will remember the MASH theme right away, even though they also
say MASH is one of the most iconic ones. Yeah,
the honey. I don't care what it is though. The Honeymooners. Yep. I Love Lucy, Magnum, as you mentioned, Star Trek. You go all over the place. In fact, you name me one show that is really a classic that does not have some, an accompaniment.
All in the Family.
A great, that's so memorable.
I even remember Simon and
Jeffersons.
Simon. The Jeffersons.
Simon.
That's one of my all-time favorite shows. I love Simon.
So you could say the title of any show.
And, oh God, I love
that. Was a great show.
I was just going to mention that too. You read my mind because the theme grows on that. It builds on that one too. Right?
You can name the title of any old show, and the theme will come into your head immediately.
What's really weird too is that for a social scientist like me, I find it incredibly interesting that that there is a whole bunch of cultural credit, cultural stock, cultural currency behind these intros as well. Once we start to break it down in a nerdy way, when we're looking at the genre of the music, what the lyrics are, you could have this really rocker theme, what Magnum PI I found to be, to have that really rocker edge. And then you're, what was the police show again that had the amazing intro?
Adam 12, TJ Hooker.
No. Give me Hill Street Blues.
Hill Street Blues. Oh, yeah. Good opening. Yep.
So these these intros for these films and these television shows, they really speak to the audience, and they cultivate a certain mood, a certain image of a certain group of people that are attracted to it, and they can pump the tires of the sort of these people who like the hard rock or people who like country. You know, The Fall Guy always appealed to me because it had this country twang to it, and these were just, you know, this was just a fun, incredibly cool guy who got to do all this stunt work and stuff. So there's a lot of work that goes into this, and there are a lot of cultural intricacies that we don't consider until we reconsider it as a loss to our cultural exchange.
I said KMG 365. What am I talking about?
I can hear you. What'd you say?
KMG 365.
KMD 365.
KMG 365. Emergency.
Sorry.
Oh,
God. Emergency.
Yep.
Well, the second you said that, though, because I have a background in radio and stuff, the first thing I started thinking is WKRP in Cincinnati, right?
Another great song.
Oh, yeah.
Baby,
that was the Jack Webb series.
Ever wondered, love it. Well, Jack Webb.
Emergency.
Dragnet had a great theme.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, so many. I mean, again, I can't think of a Man from U.N.C.L.E. Great One Snort. I mean, I cannot think of some show that sticks out in your mind as one you liked a lot. It's almost all you automatically, you could say the title of a show that you hadn't thought of. Someone could say the title of the show you haven't thought of in years. Yeah. And the theme's going to come along with your recognition of the show.
Yeah. And it does so much to your brain too. Like I had read a study several years ago that said that if you played classical music like Mozart in a cafe, that people felt as though the food tasted better. So, you know, you think about your classic 1960s Spider-Man cartoon and think about that beautiful acid jazz that they used to play when he used to go to the club when he was doing his investigations. Right. So you've got this jazz, you've got classical music, you've got this rock and roll, that beautiful theme to Miami Vice was just absolutely unbelievable. That, you know, I Phil Collins in the air tonight.
I think it actually charted that.
Yeah. Yep. And so this cultivates the all of these different genres that we like. You get headbangers and rockers and cowboys and classical nerds and jazz freaks and people who love the blues. It's really wonderful.
Rockford charted.
Yeah. The Rockford Files was awesome.
That charted. That played on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
I love the Rockford Files. Yeah. Well, Mike Post, he did that. He did Rockford, and he did Greatest American Hero, and he did Magnum, and he did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think he did Simon and Simon, maybe.
Didn't Hill Street Blues win a
too.
slew of awards?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
David Caruso and Denise Crosby both made the worst decisions, although David Caruso did have a much better career, but David Caruso left Hill Street Blues after one season. You know,
why?
I thought that was NYPD Blue.
Oh, NYT. Oh, yeah, I'm mixing up my show. No, isn't it Hill Street Blues? Or was it NYT?
No.
Well, either way, they both made bad decisions.
Yes. Either way,
he's not old enough. Because he's not old enough for Hill Street Blues. You know, the first movie I ever saw him in was First Blood.
Oh, that's right. And NYPD Blue. Gee, come on, Mark. You got to get your
I guess he is old
top
enough,
show straight. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was NYPD Blue, though.
Yeah, it was.
You know
yeah,
what,
you're right.
Steve Mitchum, honey? I actually don't remember that. All I remember was
it was incredible.
That I learned my David banner. It's supposed to be Bruce, but remember on that show it was David. So I just remember just thinking to myself, well, I really love science. So I just remember thinking to myself when I was young, wouldn't it be great to be involved with science like this and so on and so forth. I actually do not remember the theme to The Incredible Hulk. I just remember that opening scene where David Banner looks up from this slew, this counter full of beakers and Bunsen burners, and you wonder, you know, what's going to happen. So
you don't remember that music when he's at the end of every episode when he's walking, and it's a lighter version of the theme with that piano.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was kind of a depressing, semi-depressing song. Right?
Yeah.
It was so sad. In
Well,
fact,
that's what music does
it was
to you,
so
right?
so iconic, in fact, and so connected to the Hulk. In fact, when they made the apology film, The Incredible Hulk for the MCU, to that to the terrible, the 2008, which is the apology for the terrible 2003
the
film.
Ang Lee one.
Yeah, they even added that in there. They used it in that film a little bit. The Lonely Man theme. Wow, you probably. Hey there, Tim's Talk. Good to see you.
Yeah, it was that movie was a travesty. The Ang Lee Hulk,
The 03 one,
the art Hulk. Yeah, and I have a good buddy who's got ADD. I'm not making fun of him, but we still joke about it. Like he was in the movie theater, he kept hitting me like, "Are we in the right theater? When's the Hulk gonna show up and smash stuff?" So we still joke about it. He's like, "You're not gonna make me watch another like Ang Lee Hulk movie, are you?"
Hey, JT Kirk is here.
Hey, JT Kirk, buddy.
And I didn't see Max Redstone walk through the door there. Good evening, Max. Nice to see you, honey.
See, then there's a problem because this is such a great topic, and you can't do it justice on YouTube.
You can't play music
because you can't play, even examples of the music without getting in trouble. You can just talk about it. Yeah, D-Mud, I love the Red Dwarf theme. And that too, the tongue-tied version. There are a couple of good songs on there actually, and the Elvis version, the Elvis impersonator version of the Red Dwarf theme is great. It was somewhere in, I don't know, into the early 2000s when we started losing that from shows. The short attention span, nobody wants to just turn the show on and wait or have a teaser and then, or whatever. Monk had two of them. Its first season, everyone liked that little kind of quiet little theme opening, and then they changed it to a Randy Newman one. A lot of people didn't like that change, but I got used to it because Monk lasted 9 years. That was a great show.
Yeah. Well, music mentally prepares us. It puts us in a mood. When you get up in the morning, you may or may not want to listen to heavy metal. And something happens to you when you begin to meditate. Are you listening to pan flute? Are you listening to the soft sounds of classical music? And so you can have music that pumps you up, and you can have music that calms you down. And so it really is a missing element. It's really, really sad that we skipped over all of that, and then we also lost it as its own little industry within Hollywood and within our TV and film. It really sucks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mr. Angel, excellent. Love Blake 7 and Dudley Simpson did a fine job on that overly dramatic theme, and I love it. Love it. There you go.
Yeah, see, I don't like music in the morning because it's quiet time, or just like at a room, your roommate or something wants to blast. I like Metallica, but not at 7:30 a.m. But maybe some people want that to wake them up and get them going.
Right.
But it's like, I just want to hear the news or someone talking in the morning. Now that I've been a talk radio junkie for years too, so I'm kind of used to that. But just music in the morning, just like I can't, I just can't take it. It's like I'm not ready for it. But some people, probably love, music in the morning, or I can picture Nick Weiser headbanging early in the morning, maybe to get up. I don't know.
And for me, I get up. I get up to romantic opera. I just ask my what. I can't say it, otherwise she'll turn on.
The Echo. You can say the Echo.
Yes,
that's actually the name of the device. That's a geek trivia, right?
You don't want to say her name though, otherwise she'll begin speaking. But I just ask her for romantic opera in the morning, or I ask her for Vivaldi, and so that's a great way of waking up, right? There's also morning classical on Spotify, and that's terrific too. But I'm not sure if I could get up to Pantera.
Yeah.
Now, someone brings up, which is the better of the Space 1999 themes? First season or second season?
First.
Yes.
First.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my poor husband, who doesn't even like science fiction. I mean, science fiction's growing on him. I mean, we've been friends for 27 years, so he's gotten used to it. But he, whenever he sees the second season, he's like, "I hate this beginning. This beginning is terrible compared to the first season. Why'd they change it?"
Yeah.
Well, now when you watch on streaming services, they just skip intro, and then you're missing a lot of the show, right? For that's part of getting into the mood to watch the show. So TNG doesn't have a separate uses the movie theme, but it's still a great theme. Although maybe it would have been cool if they come up with another one. But when you hear that, you're getting ready to watch Star Trek, right?
That's right.
But you know what? It never sounds quite right on the show because of TMP. It's so perfect in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just sort of a sped up version of Goldsmith. In fact, I've always thought, even when it first came out, even though I liked some, we're reviewing Next Gen, so we like some of it. I never thought that it needed to take that theme. They should have done their own. It never feels right. It still doesn't. When I hear that, I still think of the motion picture. I don't really think of Next Generation. I know they use it. At least they gave Deep Space Nine its own theme. Dad, man, what's up, buddy?
And the much maligned Enterprise theme, right?
Even Voyager, which is the one I like the least, has a great theme because it's Jerry Goldsmith.
No, I'm forgetting. I just spaced, quote unquote, on the Voyager theme. I've watched every episode and I can't remember it now.
Not that good.
I think it's great. Yeah. I love the Jerry Goldsmith did that. One of the last things he did, really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He actually did a great soundtrack to First Contact, though. Yeah. That's a beautiful soundtrack.
Jerry Goldsmith was fantastic. Amazing.
But look at the super new stuff. Like I thought that the comic book adaptation of Sweet Tooth, I thought it was quite cute. I really liked it. I don't remember the beginning of that.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know the intro to that.
Which one again?
They did an adaptation of
the Deer Kid.
Yeah, they did an adaptation of the Sabrina comics. And I know that I'm going to, people are going to throw fruit at me for saying this, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was a guilty pleasure. I didn't find it like overly compelling or cerebral or anything, but I really enjoyed watching it. It actually reminded me of when I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my offspring. So,
You mean the Sabrina TV show? Oh
yeah. And
Melissa Joan Hart.
I watched. No, the new one with.
Gotcha.
The new one with Shipley. What was her name? Was the girl's name Shipley? I watched every episode too.
But what's the theme there? Do you know the song?
I can't remember the theme.
No,
they did have some. They did have some good.
Buffy had a good one too, by the way. You mentioned
good teasers with some good music. But I don't know if I didn't think they used them for the show though. But they had some commercials or video trailers they used. But
Oliver, that is a great opening theme by Stu Phillips, the original Galactica. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, very, very memorable. But it's so funny, isn't it, Mark? Because it really proves Clobby's point. And and certainly being raised in a band and being a classically trained musician and going through my childhood, I certainly support what he's saying anecdotally, and certainly there are a lot of studies that also support what Clobby's saying, and we feel bonded to this stuff when it has this music and all of these wonderful thoughts and all of this window dressing that helps to create these stories for us. And now everything sorely lacks it. Wah wah wah.
Yeah. Even
what was the last good? Can we name like a recent theme that was?
That's what I'm going for.
Right. I got one.
Cobra Kai. What was
Never
Cobra
had
Kai?
one.
I love the show. Did it have one?
I can tell you the last really theme song opening of a show that I watched for a lot and that I loved. That was really good, and it was clever because I used it. It was probably Psych. I love the show Psych. Have anyone watched that? Zach, you Hulk villain.
I didn't watch it, but I know
it was a USA show around the same time.
The missus watched that one. Yep.
It had a great opening theme. Sometimes they used the shorter version, sometimes the longer version, and they did really different things with it. It was just a fun show with great characters. I love Psych, and every sometimes like they would do clever stuff with it too. Like they had an episode where the mystery took place on the set of one of those novellas on one of those Spanish Hispanic channels. And so they sang it, of course, the theme song in Spanish. They had another one where I forgot, it was something to do with Hindu or something. So they sang that version of it in that. All these different versions of the song. And it's a great song, and it very catchy, long or short version. Someone here's watched Psych. I know it. That was a really good show.
Yeah, we're the chat is exploding. Everyone's just talking about all of the shows that they remember. For myself, I'm going to have to say the most recent theme song that I can sing off the top of my head that I really love would be Peaky Blinders. That theme, that Red Right Hand. It's Peaky Blinders is an outstanding show, and that would be the most recent I can think of where I would know the theme. How about you, Mark?
I found my most recent, by the way.
I can picture shows that like Veronica Mars, but that's kind of old now too. I'm trying to remember the opening to Veronica Mars.
Well, while you're doing that, I found my most recent. Thank you, Matthew Pounder. Daredevil. It was 2015. That is a very compelling opening theme, and it's funny, they have that skip intro thing on Netflix and stuff now. Got really, because also with these intros, remember many of them are combined with visuals.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals on Daredevil, that again, it's not always a theme song. Sometimes it's just theme music. The music for Daredevil is brilliant and compelling, and it gets you in the mood. That was the last really chilling. I mean, in other words, I never skipped the intro on that. Even some of the Marvel shows that I didn't like much had pretty good intros and music. I got to admit that. And for Daredevil, I forgot about that because I just rewatched Daredevil again. Matthew Pounder, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Hawkeye opening is fantastic, thanks to David Aja, who's not getting paid for it, and with all his gorgeous artwork. And that's actually pretty. Yeah, visually, I couldn't
tell you what the song is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the song. But visually, it's a beautiful, beautiful opening. Yep. Very well
I love
done.
what Decepticon is saying here. They exclude theme songs for being too cheesy, but they don't understand it goes a long way toward branding and resonance and selling your products for years. Reminds viewers of moments and characters. Yeah, it's almost like your sense of smell, Decepticon. Where you smell a certain perfume or a certain flower, and it can bring back that rush of memories. Music is the same way with these TV shows, and it's something we're sorely lacking. I love these responses.
What if I said the facts of life?
I instantly, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
I'll tell you the most versatile theme song in all of TV ever. Oh yeah, good. Different. I'm sorry, different strokes. Go ahead. Yeah.
But I'm just they're doing a live performance on the 7th of Different Strokes and Facts of Life.
Really? Who's alive?
Wow.
Who's left alive?
No. It's a live. In front of a studio audience. They're going to pick 2 episodes, I guess, and they've been doing that like they did All in the Family. Remember, they did All in the Family with Woody Harrelson as Archie. So they're going to do, pick, I guess, a couple of episodes, and they've got
new actors,
new actors playing playing the characters. But like you say, what you talking about, Willis? Just who knows what that what that is, right?
Cheesiest,
my kids, I say that all the time, and my kids look at me like I'm crazy, but everyone was saying,
cheesiest is Wonder Woman, but it was Wonder Woman was a fun cheesy song.
It was, yep. And she had such a beautiful body. I remember her just beginning to spin. She would start to spin.
My.
She was beautiful, and she's still gorgeous. Wow.
Okay, not in company. I was just about to say, Matthew Pounder, Doctor Who, for my money, is the most versatile of all theme songs ever. There are 10 million different takes on it, and it's one of the greatest of all of them as well. And I can't tell you how many different really out there versions and twists on it and iterations there have been of it that fans have done. And the show, even on the actual show, it changed it. It kind of went all over the place with it, but it stayed to the same theme. That's one of the absolute greats. When I make my list of top 10, it's in the top 2 or 3 greatest theme songs. You got to differentiate like theme or scores and then theme songs.
Mm-hmm.
Two different categories. Firefly's a great one. Love it.
I don't remember the Firefly
Take
one.
my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care. I'm still free. You can't take the sky
Oh yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Take
You
me
got me
out
now.
to the black. Tell him I ain't coming back.
Nice
I love that.
Western
Yeah.
theme there. Yeah, like West. Yeah.
The Briscoe
No, but it
County
really
Jr. is a great one.
gets you into the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was part of television. I mean, it was so vital. I don't know why you would make a show and not want people to watch your opening and have a musical score or a song that can really get you pumped up about watching the episode. I don't know how that became lost. There's some okay shows I've seen that don't have it.
It's a time factor now. The shows, they want to jam in more commercials, so they don't have all the openings. I was watching something,
it's a shame.
watching about it, and they've cut the show. So I was reading about, I mentioned before, writers are complaining they didn't have enough time, for an hour show to flesh out the character, and they've got to trim the acts back because they keep adding commercials. So, I think the average, I'll look it up. I think the time from a TV show went over from 50 minutes down to 42 minutes of actual, broadcast time.
But it's also the neurological consequence of the internet. Nicholas Carr talks about it quite a bit in his book, The Shallows. And, there is a reduction in our attention span. It's 7 seconds before we lose interest. And this is happening to the younger generation, and the younger generation has not had decades of long form deep reading. They scan, they don't put a lot of attention to one thing at one period of time. So I think it's also the fear of being shut off, with these streaming services, especially. There's actually I believe a time at which you pass where they say you're actually watching the show, or the show has met the muster point, where you're a certain amount of seconds into the program. So they don't want to risk it with this long form introduction and this music and these beautiful things. And it's really sad because society's lost their appreciation for it. And I agree with Decepticon. I think that it's the glue. It glues us to these IPs. We love this stuff.
Oh yeah. It's just and I think part of it too was you had everyone watching just these few shows. There weren't a proliferation of
True.
channels and shows. So growing up in the New York City area, watching New York TV, after school you could watch, you either watch Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch. What else was Partridge Family was on, Star Trek was on weekends, but then you'd have the same cartoons too. So you'd have Mr. Magoo, Josie and the Pussycats, Scooby Doo. Like it was all like all the kids in the same area had the same shows, and you really didn't have a choice of what there was no Cartoon Network, so G.I. Joe. I was a little bit older, but I knew like G.I. Joe was on later in the day or whatever after school, but before cable, you didn't. That was it. So everyone knew those those shows. So we all grew up knowing all these old shows. So you'd watch like The Facts of Life, and then your reruns would be the Brady Bunch. So did you see Marcia got hit with the football yesterday? That episode, I love that episode. So or Marcia won the driving contest against Greg. She didn't knock the egg off the cone at the end. So we all know that you had that common denominator, but today it's it's so fractured that plus we've got all these great YouTube channels like the one we're on now to talk and hang out instead of watching TV. So thank you, everyone is here watching us on YouTube. But that's part of it too, right? I mean,
yeah, well, we'll just also consider, it's interesting to consider art in the mechanical age of reproduction when we're looking at the work of Benjamin in discussing this as far as communications theory goes. And what is true in these older shows, especially in the 1960s and the 1970s and these early 80s programs, They really had this robust, full production quality to them, as though they were live stage shows. So you would have this beautiful theme music. You'd have these beautiful musical scores. You would have these long form entries. When you would come back from a commercial break, then when you would have the closing credits, it really did feel more like this very robust stage production, and we're just snipping it down, taking out all of the finery, all of these details, all of these beautiful things, and we're refining it for the digital age, and a lot of quality things and impressions and our bonding to it is being lost, I think.
Agree.
Yep.
Next person mentions Alf. Yep. I loved Alf too. Yeah.
But absolutely. I mean, Hungry Boy said something about the incidental music. Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, again, that does matter too. But theme songs they still have to have that in shows at least. But on Star Trek, wow, Fred Steiner was amazing at that.
Yeah.
So. But,
and then translates to movies too. One of the reasons we said TMP has such a fantastic theme and score, and like one of my favorite all-time movies, Patton. Another Goldsmith, and you listen to that, and when Patton's talking about reincarnation, the trumpets are going, I can't do it, but and it brings you back to that past battlefield, and the music and Patton is just so fan, and without that music, it just, I mean, the movie probably would have worked, but it really takes it up that next notch, or 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? Probably one of the greatest.
You can almost think of the music as though it's a character unto itself within the storytelling apparatus and within the story itself. I mean, you and Clubby know I absolutely abhor violence. I don't like any type of gore. I don't like violence. I absolutely hate horror. I like gothic horror, but I just want the hint. I don't need to see, like, all my brain will do the rest. I can read gothic horror, but anything visual, I don't like that kind of stuff. And just to echo and amplify your point, Mark, I want you to imagine me whenever I'm forced to watch a scary part where I think there will be violence. The first thing I do is I mute, because I don't want the heightened sensation that the music provides, because the music is a part of the storytelling. I know something terrible is going to happen. So if I mute it, I'm not quite as frightened. And so, it's a character. It's a part of the storytelling, as though it were an entity unto itself, as though you had hired another actor to perform another function within the storytelling process. And so we're missing it. We're missing it.
We're missing it.
Well, like one of my most favorite was we just mentioned 2001, but Pink Floyd Echoes. If you start to play that, even though Pink Floyd has said it doesn't sync up, it wasn't intentional, but I don't know. Whenever I watch 2001, I rig it so I have Pink Floyd Echoes, and you time it, just when the moon of Jupiter appear. You hit that, and it sounds like it's written exactly for it. I mean, it just, and I think it's so much better. I don't know if you guys ever done that watching 2001 or. No. Oh yeah, so you can actually go on the YouTubes and find it linked up and watch it, and so it's synced together, and it's glorious too on the big screen. It's just it makes the movie better. It's oh, Steve Mitchum, I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah, dun, 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 yeah, it's right in my
What is Hungry Boy said here at 7 minutes past the hour, boss man?
I think it's a bit ridiculous that Netflix has been killing the proper long form intros, while here on YouTube they're sneaking in ads for Netflix over a minute long.
Yes. Well, there's no escaping it. I've been warning people about this on the streams for years now, and just nobody ever listens to me. But just wait until we're fully immersed in the attention economy online, and then wait for the sea of ads, and then ads will be so immersive, it will be hell.
Well, I could confess I pay for YouTube Premium because I got so sick of the ads, and I started watching so much YouTube. especially if you're not watching. Well, I guess the live stream you don't have an ad, obviously, right?
Not that I know of. No, I mean, well,
right?
On my phone, if I go on to watch a live stream, it's an ad before it starts, but it doesn't interrupt the live stream. No.
Yeah, but whenever I was
watching, interrupt
videos. If I go to watch Neurotic or Doomcock or something, or whoever I'm watching, you get a gazillion, and there was so many ads every.
Yeah.
And I agree. Hey, people, this stuff's not free, so someone should get paid. But then by doing YouTube Premium, then you don't have to watch the ads. So, but that's it's something I chose to do. But I still, then when I go back to watch it on the other account, it's like every time I'm thinking of canceling the premium to save the money, and then it's like, oh god, the commercials. But that's how we pay for everything, right? Too. So it's not, YouTube.
With your eyeballs.
Yeah, YouTube is not here for us to do a show. It is, but they're also here to make advertising dollars off of all these shows too. So, which Raquel has talked about so many times. So,
yeah,
you can't begrudge the ads either. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that, and this is something that I've tried to explain before that takes a full lecture to explain. But the thing is that within the attention economy here online, there is a loss of psychographic and demographic information. So, if you were watching Kojak, there was a psychographic and a demographic behind that show. And so the ads would respond in kind to your age and to your needs. And now more and more you'll see you could be watching an entirely adult content, and they'll have children's ads, and they'll be trying to appeal to a much wider audience, or you receive ads that make absolutely no sense for you. They're not in your age, they're not in your gender, they're and sometimes it's a little insulting. You're like, why am I seeing this? And it's very strange, like especially when you're on YouTube and you're watching something to do with science fiction, or I'm watching one of the streams that I love, one of you folks on here, and the weird commercial comes on where somebody is claiming that apple cider vinegar removes calluses from your feet, and all of a sudden I just recoil in it's absolutely disgusting. Number one, especially the visuals.
But do they?
And number two, why is this on my friend's channel? This has nothing to do with my friend's content, with my friend's age. So it's that bucket of water against the wall that I'm talking about, that they take advantage in the attention economy online. It's not targeted ads, and so you don't fall in love with those ads. Nobody's going to be falling in love with the apple cider vinegar removes calluses from your feet ads made by some Joe Schmo. I mean, they're not even professional ads. You wonder where they're coming from and how they're getting paid for this.
Yep. Well, there you go. Oh, I do believe it. I just now remembered, Raquel, I think you have something to show us.
I do, boss.
Are you ready for some comic book show and tell?
Yes, everyone? Please. Where is Phantom Outsider? Decepticon is here, though. It seems as though all of the usual comic book expert suspects are
Phantom Outsider stuck watching ads before he can catch up to the stream. No, just kidding.
Yes, I did know Johnny Rivers is from Baton Rouge. Absolutely. Steve, that's right. Yep. There's a man who lives a life of danger.
Anti-derivative Jill. Hello.
Hey. Hail, Jill.
Okay,
yes.
So this is what I pulled out of the long box this evening, folks. Bagged and boarded, the Ren and Stimpy show. The Ren and Stimpy show. And my husband has 15 of these suckers. They're made by Marvel Comics.
Yes, they are.
They're $1.75 in the US and $1.20 in the UK and $2.25 in Canada. Boy, he has 15 of these things. Tell me about the Ren and Stimpy show comic books.
Well, Marvel did that in the early 90s at some point based on the very popular show of the same name, which I'm sure you've heard of. And I never bought it, but I've seen it. I've seen the comics, and I don't know if it's has any kind of worth. Is it in your database there, Mark?
I just looked it up. If you have issue number 43, that's worth $17, and 42 is worth $12. 41 $10, and 40 is $9. It's pretty much everything is $5 or $3 to below. So it's not going to break the bank if you wanted to if you're a big fan of the show and you wanted to collect them.
Yes. So, okay. And so what else can we say about this? Yes. Okay. So I'm curious. The person who made these comics, are they the same folks who did the cartoon? I never watched the cartoon. We had the cartoon
one of
on
the writer blocked both me and Clobby, so we're not big fans of him anymore. He wrote the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man.
Dan Slott wrote
Spider-Man. Dan Slott wrote most of these comics.
Yeah, John Crickfalusi created the show, but the comic usually the guys who created the show didn't do the comic books very often. So yeah.
So Dan Slott is infamous for his. I
didn't realize Slott was working there back then, though. Wow.
Yeah, so they started in '92.
Okay.
Was the first issue. People love Ren and Stimpy, and they're it's not my kind of humor, but you must love it with the Chihuahua, right? I mean.
I would never watch this show. I would rather scoop my own eyes out with a melon baller. This is totally not my taste, but I did think it was interesting that this show that so many people watched, it was on our MTV here. We had something called Much Music, and I remember it being on Much Music before the other cartoon that I would never watch, the Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
And so
I love that one though.
I thought it was interesting that they would have a cartoon and that they would turn it into a comic. And I was wondering about the artist and how that would happen, and if the artist will wind up working for the comic book. But evidently not.
No, not usually. But hey, David Serta. But I loved. See, I'm more of a Beavis and Butthead fan. I love that more than most people love South Park. I prefer Beavis and Butthead, and I never liked Ren and Stimpy that much. To me, it's just like it was just farts and boogers. There was nothing to it. It was just gross out stuff.
Yeah, it's just a bodily humor.
I never not my kind.
But Beavis and Butthead was not. That was very clever stuff. It was brilliant. I love it.
I did not watch a Beavis and Butthead Max Redstone, even though it was on Much Music, which is, of course, Canada's MTV, or was Canada's MTV. I couldn't get into it. Possibly because I knew people who were actually like those two characters. I think I made it through maybe 20 seconds of it.
I love it so much.
Mike is doing the sound effect.
She thinks our show sucks. Yeah. She's a hot babe. Of course she thinks you suck, babe. That's what everyone does. Yeah. I'm pretty cool. Wait a minute. Shut up, butthead.
That works now.
Oh God,
Max, you love them.
She digs us. Yeah. We're gonna score. We're gonna score tonight. Yeah, but believe us, you're never gonna score. Like the episode, for example, when they went into the future and interviewed them as really, really old men after they climbed over the bridge, the fence of the nudist colony. And they're interviewing them. They're real old, stupid-ass men on the couch. So what do you think was their biggest achievement of your life? They go, we saw naked people. Oh, they're the best. Mike Judge is an absolute genius, by the way. He made Idiocracy, which is like the scariest horror movie ever made.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's a futurism. That's a futuristic movie. It's it's happening now.
Yeah,
Rondo.
And who would have known that much about propane products and propane accessories if it wasn't from Mike Judge too? Yeah,
I absolutely hate that kind of humor. What's that guy's name? Will Ferrell.
Oh, I don't like
that type of humor.
You don't like cowbell?
The Ren and Stimpy, the Beavis and Butthead, the Will Ferrell, all that stuff. It drives me up the wall. It makes me insane. I do not find it funny at all. I find it super annoying. And who's that other idiot that was in the Will Ferrell movie with him? What's his name?
Which movie are you talking about?
The race car movie.
Oh yeah, that guy. John C. Reilly.
That idiot.
Yeah.
He's a good actor, but yeah, I didn't watch that. I don't like.
Head Desk.
He had his own movie.
I can't stand Will Ferrell.
Yeah, it's just
I'm not a big fan, but Anchorman was kind of funny though.
So bad. It's so bad. It's just okay. You want to face on the dartboard? Definitely that lunatic, that John C. Reilly lunatic, or that Will Ferrell idiot. What an idiot!
Well, like what are the chances out of 1 in a million that Raquel liked Dumb and Dumber? Because that's one of my all-time favorite movies.
I would never watch that. My family tried to make me watch it.
Funny movie.
I wanted to scream.
Yeah. I almost died watching it. I couldn't stop laughing. We're watching with another couple. And this is back on VHS. I'm like, rewind the tape. And they're looking at me like, what is so funny? And I'm like dying of laughter. And they're like, you're crazy. And my wife was like, I'm never watching this movie again. And like when the owl got taken out, I'm like, rewind. And all the lines in that movie, it's just like so
terrible.
Quotable.
It's not.
But yeah, but it's
funny.
just certain people. It like speaks to me. It's just like, I love that. Like, dude, so you're telling me there's a chance?
So you're saying there's a chance.
It's like, what are the chances we'll get together? 1 in a million. Yeah.
So there's a 1 in a million.
No, it's disgusting. It's potty humor. It's bodily humor. It's
a lot
absolutely
of it is
awful.
Some of it is, but when he's in the bathroom,
Three Amigos. John Candy is funny. Uncle Buck is funny. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The Three Amigos. Anything with
those aren't pillows.
The Marx Brothers are great. I love them. But see, we're guys. I love the Three Stooges. I mean, guys like sick shits like that. So.
Yeah. Yes. Hungry Boy says farce comedy turns Raquel from Vulcan to Romulan.
Dad Man. Oh, thank you for that, Dad Man. You shouldn't have, sir. Thank you. $4.99 super chat says, I can imagine Clobby commenting in Beavis and Butthead voices while we are playing Fortnite. Mark, man, tell him thank you.
Yes,
too kind.
That'd be great. Yeah,
you're too kind. Like, hey, Fortnite. Yeah, you said fart. You said fart. Yeah, I would not do that to you, Dad Man. Well, I probably would.
Shakes head disapprovingly in silence.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead though is clever because it's like Idiocracy. It's coming. Those characters, those two guys. What's it said? Mike Judge has said those two are kids he went to school with, and it's making fun of idiots. See, my favorite thing about it is the original show on MTV when they would make fun of those little stupid music videos, when they would comment on them. Oh God, that was the funniest part to me, which they couldn't syndicate later. Remember because of all the copyrights and stuff. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, comics.
Anti-derivative Jill. Seth Rogen is not funny. I don't find him funny at all. I don't find him funny at all. Kal-El, Dude, Where's My Car? I wouldn't watch that if you paid me money. And I had to watch The Zoolander because my family watched it and it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It was so frustratingly dumb. Anyway, it's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I hate Seth Rogen. He is the antidote to funny.
What?
Keely Chow, roll time.
Hey, Keely.
Ah, yes. Rest in peace, JJ. There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you see the new trailer that was out that I think it was Nerdrotic was showing or someone was showing it for Seth Rogen's new HBO Max movie?
It's horrific.
Oh my God! It was like Santa Claus. Oh my goodness gracious! I mean, it's all attacking, white people for being, Santa Claus for being white, and all. We don't want to get into politics, but just men, not it's and men, but it's just total. You don't. Those aren't jokes that that are laughable, or it's like he's trying to throw. It's not even he's attempting political satire, but failing epically. It's it's scary actually that kind of stuff passed muster when you watch that. I'm not even going to post a link for it because it's so bad, but just
it's
watch it.
It's
just
disgusting.
Just such an attack on everything you love about Christmas or the holidays, or and it's just. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, thank you, Max Redstone. I guess I'll try to say it. My voice is messed up. I am the great Contorio. Give me TV for my butthole. I try. My voice is terrible.
That's so terrible.
Hulk villain. Well, Max is a good fellow. I have a feeling I had to give it a try for him. Yeah. But no,
head desk.
So did you have other comics?
I do.
Let's see some hear about some comics.
Well, we can see them if you want to show them, boss.
Oh no, it's up to you. We don't have to. See them, show them. It's up to you.
We can show the next one that I picked. Marvel Comics, $1.50 in the US. 50th June, The Silver Surfer. Anniversary 50th issue spectacular. 50 years of Captain America, 1941 to 1991. And I picked this because I know that my Eric K, that's his nickname, the Silver Surfer. So I thought it would be cool to show this comic book cover to talk a little bit about the treatment with Hungry Boy and Phantom Outsider, and certainly Decepticon and Mark, and of course you, Clobby. I mean, how did they make this cover?
That's volume 2 of the Silver Surfer with that. It's that cover with the special. What do you call that stuff?
It's like
foil, holochrome,
embossed,
embossed cover. Yep.
Yeah, and that's
a special. 2. That's a one-off, right? It was just a one-off. Escape to Terror. Stanley John Byrne.
It's basically. It was no. That's not the one-off one. That you thinking of that one shot. This is it says number 50, right? Raquel, 50th anniversary.
Yeah, and it says Bon Bim.
Say again.
It says Bomb. Or Bon and Bim.
Yeah.
Volume 3 then.
Right. This is it 3? You sure it's probably volume.
And it says
technically 3, I guess.
From the surfer's past.
Oh, and that's the Ron Lim probably.
That's the
right?
Ron Lim one. Yeah, that's from the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, anniversary. Yep. I've got that
87
issue.
or something like that, probably. 80,
yep, silver embossed cover. Yep. So 6/1/91. Of course, I've got the program, guys. I'm not that smart, so I'm looking it up.
It's a Ron Lim cover, though.
Ron Lim. Yep, Ron Lim. Love Ron Lim and Starlin's the writer on Surfer. That was a good run at Surfer.
I wish Starlin. I remember being aggravated that Starlin wasn't drawing it.
Yes, thank you, chat, for explaining it to me while the guys talk about the comic here. Yeah, so happened? His name is Ron Lim. Okay, because I'm looking at it. It looks like Bon Bim. But thank you, Hungry Boy. And Decepticon says foil embossed. Almost everything had that crap. Gave many printers a lot of extra business.
Yeah.
So Decepticon, why is that? Is that because they had to be reprinted if they made mistakes, or is that because the foiling happened post-production?
No, it was a gimmick.
Okay. Cool.
No, but it just made the printing much more expensive because you had to,
It did.
Yes, of course, yes.
You had to, and Mike, you worked at a print house, but you had to do, probably, different runs. You had to print one run with the ink, and you had to run it through again with the silver, probably, or So.
Yeah, well, I think what he's probably referring to though is that just the fact that this was a gimmick that was going on at the time to sell extra comics, and the printer, they did like a lot of. They didn't do a lot of variant covers back then so much, but they had those foil embossed covers that were, I don't know, late 80s through the early 90s, a little bit were a big deal.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon, gentlemen. Please excuse me for interrupting, but a very important person has finally become tired, and he's had insomnia, and he's not feeling well. So, Mr. Angel, good night, honey. Go to sleep. Don't worry about it. We'll see you another day. I'm happy you're going to sleep. Don't wait around. Go to bed right now.
All right, Mr. Angel. Take it easy, buddy.
Take care, Mr. Angel. Yep. Sleep well.
So, I thought Ron Lim was okay. It was just didn't. It wasn't one. It was just he's kind of average. He was kind of competent, and that was good. But so I got to admit, I probably wasn't even buying the title at this time. In fact, I'm pretty sure I wasn't. But there were this went into multiple printings. I do remember that.
Yeah, there are three printings, and the silver kind of works for Silver Surfer. So
Yeah,
someone was saying they didn't like, it's a total gimmick, but for 50th issue, and I own most of this series actually. Yeah, from 50 up. Yep.
And so because I like to cover this a little bit like a journalistic style, because I wanted to do this so that people who didn't know that much about comics could learn about comics.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about value, and let's talk about like how many of them there were. Can we talk about that, gentlemen?
Sure.
Well, yep. It's easier for me because I got the software.
He's got the software for all the. He's got a price guide and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so this I'm using Comic Base, which just came out with version 2022 today, and I think you might be able to still get a discount on that. But yeah, it's a great software for your comic book collection, and so it lists everything, and it's connected to the internet. So you do downloads whenever they each week, whenever the new books come in. So they update the prices and it's great. The end users can also put in corrections, which is great too. So if for example, if you said, "Oh, Ron Martz wasn't the the writer in issue 85, it's so and so," and then you can correct through the database, and they'll have someone go and check that. So it's also great, for user submissions. So Silver Surfer Volume 3 ran from 87 to 98, and it went up to issue 146. And that was the last issue, The Fury of the Fire Lord. And you had some great creators on this one, too. I mean, you had George Perez doing the art for some of the issues. I'm looking through the names here.
Marshall
Ron
Rogers
Martz
did it for a while.
Ron Martz, Ron Lim, as we mentioned. Jim
Martz,
Starlin. Yeah.
Decepticon has
Ron
offered a decidedly non-geeky, extremely nerdy publishing comment, and that's the kind of stuff that I love to see. So yeah, Decepticon says Rob Liefeld on his podcast, talked about a man from Quebec, who entered Image's offices with swatches of foil and other gimmicks to upsell his printing. They use lots of them for covers. So yeah, so this is exactly what I was asking Decepticon. Love the nerdy answer. I love that I love learning about comics through the nerd lens. So knowing that publishing information is really cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, Garney actually did some Surfer too. At this point, it must have been early in his career.
Yeah.
The art doesn't look very
Mars was
good.
Just a crappy writer. Jesus.
Yeah. JM, how do you say his last name? DeMatteis?
I always said DeMatteis, but
DeMatteis. You never know until you meet these people. Yeah. Tom DeFalco, who I like.
You're the DeFalco guy, aren't you? Yeah.
But I think this run I remember being pretty decent run of the Surfer. So I thought that's ups and downs.
I wouldn't mind a lot of mainstream stuff at that point.
Yeah, but this was when I was doing a lot of buying everything and reading everything in the early 90s. Yeah, it's like why didn't I grow up in an older age with better collected? If I had all the comics from the 70s to the 60s, it would have been a lot better than having all the 90s, right? Yeah.
I was starved for entertainment back then. I didn't know how well I had it because at least there was still some good stuff coming out. But I hated the mainstream crap. And
I love the Surfer because it always ties into the Fantastic Four and Galactus, and was an exploration, and that character. It's a great character, and there's always possibility of coming up with stories. I mean, he travels the universe, so that's. And there's he fights Thanos, he fights all different cosmic characters.
Not
Thanos.
Thanos.
Thank you.
I absolutely love that Hungry Boy is adding to the nerd cred here. That guy was probably from Quebec Core, which was a massive printer of comics in the 80s to the 2000s. Lots of people used them as a printer. Cool. I love the publishing aspects of it. And I love that Decepticon and Hungry Boy and Clobby and Mark and all of you know so much about it. I just love that aspect of it.
Well, when Decepticon, and when Sean said that earlier, was he talking about? I didn't know Image was in Canada though.
Mm-hmm. Well, evidently they were. And Hungry Boy saying the bulk of comics for a long time were actually printed in Canada.
Well, a lot of them were, but there's also World Color Press in Sparta, Illinois. Hungry Boy, remember that? So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe some of the special stuff was. I know a lot of it was done in Canada as well. Anyway,
well, Canada's a huge supplier of pulp and paper, so
we are.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So the missus worked actually for a paper company in Canada for a while. She was based in the States, but she would travel to Canada a lot. But yep. So huge, lots of trees up there, and we need paper, and we need trees to make our paper, right? Even though some people might not want to hear that, but your comics were once trees.
Decepticon says no. I don't think Image was in Canada, but they may have been printed here.
Yeah, a lot of stuff was. Yeah.
Decepticon, you're Canadian?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Indeed.
Hello. Another Canadian.
Now you like him even more.
I met so many cool Canadians here.
I just like Decepticon because he's very clever and very knowledgeable. I recall the first night that I met Decepticon. He was going back and forth with you and Clobby, and I was taken aback by his knowledge and by just how friendly and kind he was. So it was so cool to meet you, Decepticon.
Yeah, he's a great
guy. Yeah. Great.
Unfortunately, his review of Ghostbusters Afterlife was too spot on. I was getting annoyed by his logic and reasoning to explain all his positions.
He's a big party pooper like J-Man. He and J-Man are just a couple of party poopers.
Just say the movie stunk, and I'm not giving any reasons, right? Yeah.
So what you're saying is Decepticon is too articulate?
Yes, he was way too articulate. He used way too much dialogue.
It's my job to ruin movies for you, not his.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like my friend. We were watching The Graduate. And like, this movie's boring. It's got too much dialogue.
There you go, D-Bud. When Sparta shut down and the printer went to Baxter Paper, it's when printing shifted to Canada.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like the Baxter Paper. I kind of liked it. I mean, I'm as nostalgic as the next guy for newsprint, but I kind of like the Baxter stuff. I don't know. I thought it was fine, but not every comic used it. But
the Baxter's the lighter stuff.
I want to know who we blame for the flexi graphic crap, though. Do we blame Canada for that one?
Blame Canada.
Don't you dare! No, but I do like the fact that in discussing the Silver Surfer, that it is revealed how gimmicky that foil was. So it's not an attribution. An epithet, if you will, of the Silver Surfer. One would think logically that the two things would be connected, but for everyone at home to learn, folks who don't know as much about comics like I'm just learning that it was a fad is really super cool, and it helps people to empower their purchase, to know what's going on. So I think it's cool we talked about that.
Yeah. Well, what are comics you got?
I have something very, very gross. I don't like it. I think it's terrible. It's ugly. It's just, it's repulsive. But I thought that some of the gentlemen in the audience might be interested in it because...
Or gentle ladies too, right? We don't want to discriminate.
No, I discriminate. So I don't know. I'm just being frank. This one is called Evil Ernie.
Oh my God.
Chaos Comics. And this one is called The Resurrection. It's number 2 of 4 from August, and they were $3.50 in Canada. And obviously, I would not be interested in this comic at all because it is a horror comic. Can we show what this one looks like?
It was part of a fad in the 90s.
Do tell.
It's just not much to tell. It's just it was a fad for the more a lot of the alternate publishers and independent publishers were going edgelord dark and all this kind of crap and making that kind of stuff. There were a lot of fads throughout comics history, and that was just one of those one of those independent comics that was trying to be, edgy and stuff. There were a lot of I don't know.
Vampires,
yeah, I haven't heard
zombies.
that. D-Bud, I have not heard that one in a while either, and I'm certainly never bought it or touched it. But
yes.
I remember.
What number do you have, Raquel?
It is number 2.
Chaos
I just
Comics.
thought it was really strange looking. I thought that it would be very interesting.
Yeah, with the girl on the cover with the
red.
Well, you'd be happy to know that comic is worth $15.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
If you want to get rid of it, it's actually worth more than the number 1. It's been going up, and I'm going up in value. I mean, it's considering a comic book is $5 now, but at least if you paid $2.95 for it, you got your money back.
What issue was that?
Number 2.
Number 2.
I thought Eternity made that comic.
I'm seeing Chaos.
Chaos Comics makes it.
Okay.
There also is there's an Evil Ernie Dynamite and Eternity too, Clobberin. So as usual, you are correct.
I really thought.
I mean, it's been forever, but I thought it was an Eternity book. Okay.
I really thought that a lot of the guys in the audience, like the guys in our community, would have a lot to say about the art. Certainly, the girl on the front cover, I think that she's just absolutely beautiful. But once again, it's that conversation where there doesn't seem to be too much detail in the face, but at the same time, I kind of like her. I think she's gorgeous, she's sexy, she looks really heavy metal, but then you've got that weird horror thing going on with the no eyes in this weird evil Ernie thing. I don't know if it's supposed to be a girl or a guy or what.
Wasn't that Brian Polito and Hugh, some guy named Hugh or something? I don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. Yep. He's the writer. Polito and Nutman. It says, yep.
What a name.
Yeah.
David Brewer was the artist.
13 Ho Boys, but the nasty ill-tempered ones had too mean-spirited for me. Not that I'm casting shade or anything. No, I'm with. Look, I judge that crap. That wasn't a time when there was a bunch of. It's just a line of comics I didn't care for. It had nothing to do with what I wanted to see out of the art form, and it kind of who they were catering towards. I don't know. I'm not going to say much about those people, but yeah, little edgelord types, I guess.
Yeah, he said Evil Ernie. He's excuse me, moving to LA, trying to sort out his life. He's still getting over Lady Death, but his growing feelings for the vampiress Chastity. And of course, he's got to plan his next move in the war against the living. Fortunately for us, Ernie's going to get a little bit sidetracked. The third woman has an interest, I'm just blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's like a vampire horror, comic, obviously written for young teenage boys, right? Yes.
With incredibly sexy women. She looks like Pamela Anderson. This lovely hot lady on the cover. And Hungry Boy says, Raquel, for beautiful women in comics, ask Clobby about Frank Frazetta.
Yep.
1950s comics work.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, Frank, Frazetta is a master. Frazetta is a god of comics. There's no question about that. I mean, you will find, and it actually didn't do a lot of comics, of fantasy art, I should say, because he didn't do a lot of comics beyond the 50s or 60s. But what he did do was, I mean, if he's not the greatest fantasy, barbarian fantasy type artist of all time, I don't know who is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his works were just selling recently for huge sums of money. Not that, original art hasn't, but I was just reading about how much his artwork was going for, and just some of his painting, his paintings are, if you love Conan the Barbarian and that kind of stuff, fantasy art, like Clobberin Times is saying, he's probably he's the Michelangelo of that genre, I would say. But
okay, next pick.
Go for it.
Marvel Comics 74. 74. Marvel Comics that's the number 74.
Marvel Comics presents.
Yep, Marvel Comics presents Weapon X.
That's good stuff. That's a big one.
That was a huge title.
You got something right there.
So that was it was an anthology title that was running the Weapon X story to get people to buy it within it. So it had like 3 or 4 stories.
Isn't
each
72?
Episode.
Isn't 72 the key issue or something?
Let me check here.
It's 74, boss man.
I'm just saying. I think I'm talking about the monster though. Was 72, but
72 was Weapon X first appearance of Weapon X. That's $34 right now. Right. 73, yeah, Weapon X Saga. That's Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith art.
74.
This is huge right here.
How much is this one worth?
So what? Sorry, what number was that again?
74.
74.
74 is worth $7.50. Actually, I thought those would be worth more money.
Can we show what it looks like?
Sure, I'll show it to you.
Do you want me to show you my screen? I can just share all the covers.
Yeah.
Well, no, it might be easier. I can share because I have all the covers lined up. So
okay, go for it.
I love it when we do that. When we all.
I mean, this is Barry Windsor Smith. I mean, now 72 is like the huge one, but still, I would have thought this would have been more, man. I gotta be honest with him.
Yeah, so 72 is worth $34. Yep.
That's 72 right there.
Let me download these covers. I just upgraded my software to the 4K version. So let me right click and do download covers. We'll download hopefully bigger versions of these covers. There we go. So let's see, 74. Of course, your memory is open. 72. Your memory is great there. Yep.
Yeah, well, it's Clobby.
Yep. So this was
genius.
This was a huge. I mean, this was huge when this hit.
So let's talk about this art, please. Everyone in the chat, please tell me what you think. I'm not so keen on it. I don't know why, but I don't like the shading. And if you look at the Weapon X and if you look at issue 74, it has that same horizontal shading to it with a pencil that I don't like. Yeah. What is that all about? It's and look at the chest. It's weird.
It's nowhere near his greatest work. I think look, this was big money for him. He wasn't getting a lot of gigs at that point. He's very slow. So they gave him a character like this, and I think he kind of rushed the job a little bit, to be perfectly honest, at that point when he was working on Marvel Comics Presents. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
Yeah, I think so too.
But at that point, I'm trying to remember. It's been forever. So if I remember right, they let him ink himself, and I think he rushed it.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's so here's they have the different storylines here. It's very tough to read, I know. But then they had the writer, artist, and then inker. Yep, they let him ink himself right here. Yep.
Hungry Boy says Barry Windsor Smith switched to what was known as the pre-Raphaelite ink style, Raquel, and that was it just jumped. And that was in the 1880s, which has translated to comics. The chat jumped again. But pre-Ralph art does not mix well with hard deadlines. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to give you a brief example of better work that he's done. Because he's one of the great. He started out as a Kirby ripper like almost everybody else did in the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. Came over from across the pond. It was just Barry Smith, and he started out. They saw, hey, he could draw like Kirby, so do Kirby. They told him, and then later he refined his style.
Raphael Light. Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. Hungry Boy, thank you, honey.
I'll put yours back up in a second, Mark.
No. This is good.
Did you do Machine Man too, or?
Yeah, you never saw the Machine Man series he did? That was amazing.
Yeah, I love Machine Man. Yep.
I think this was better work personally.
This is beautiful.
But his Conan stuff, when you really got, when you say Barry Windsor Smith, when it comes to comics, I loved a lot of his Solar and things like that. But when you think, when a comic fan thinks Barry Windsor Smith, they think Conan. That's just the first thing that should come to anyone's mind. He of course started the Conan series. We look at just gorgeous work on Conan once he started refining his style.
Yeah, see, this is a million times better. I don't like that very naive, open, visible, finite strokes to create shading. I just don't think it's necessary. And I think I don't know, it's a very naive style, and I don't like it. It looks like he's just drawing straight lines on Weapon X's chest, and it looks bad.
For me,
I think part of it too is he's inking himself too, which is the problem. So
yeah, he should not do that. Don't listen, Barry Windsor Smith. Stop that.
But the Weapon X series just took off. I mean, everyone wanted to buy that once. And did we know that was coming out, or was that back in the early '90s? We didn't have the internet.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, well, in as much as you could know anything, like through Amazing Heroes and stuff. What I do?
God, you got to buy what because normally you wouldn't buy Marvel Comics Presents. It was kind of like a throwaway series, like it was, anthology stories and backup tales and almost like not really a what if, but just like how would you describe it, Mike? Like
which one? Marvel Comics Presents?
Presents, yeah. It was just kind of like
basically well, Marvel Fanfare was their dump book. Was a book, but they used a lot of. They could put like file stories that never got published, so they could use at random.
Yeah.
Sort of like a showcase. This was just a chance for them to do tryout stuff, to try out different characters to see if they should have their own series, or character that has one series already, put them in another one. They have some extra stories. Wolverine was pretty big at the time. And there's another thing. This series was kind of sagging. Some of the other characters that they had in there weren't really, helping it much. So, boom, stick Wolverine in Marvel Comics Presents, big sales.
Boom. Yeah, Wolverine.
I like that Hungry Boy is saying that this particular inking style is indicative of like some type of throwback, like an effort to make it look quasi retro. But yeah, epic failure. Oh, here's another example of it. Do you see what I mean? Like if you go back to that one, just go back one.
Well,
Mark,
okay. Oh, sorry.
The inking is just terrible. The art is good. The art is good, but as all of the experts have pointed out, it is the inking that I don't like, and yeah, it's terrible.
Sure, it was kind of a tryout book, but it was also just a backup book too. I mean, sometimes it was tryout. Barry Windsor Smith wasn't given. It wasn't a tryout book when they put Barry Windsor Smith on. He was already a gigantic name. So, yes and no. It was a tryout book at first. I think you could say, or Hungry Boy might have a different opinion on that.
Yeah, I hate
that. That cover
is
iconic. I mean, people know that cover. Like as soon as you see that, and there's the action.
That's not how you draw hair. And
I know, but I'm just saying that cover sold a lot of issues. I think.
What? Chris Persia has a headache.
Oh, sorry.
He's gonna go lay down and listen on his phone. Chris, I love you, honey.
Feel better, buddy.
Feel better. Yep.
Have a glass of water.
Clobber Times says, Steve says, if I were going to introduce someone like Raquel to comics, I'd send her who is Donna Troy, this man, this monster, Feeding Billy, F. Sharp Bell, and of course, Alpha Flight. Well, can't go wrong with any of those. Yep, great stuff. That's for the stories for sure. And the art.
Yes,
yeah.
That's not a good artwork there, but
I bought this because it was very.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't know if the artwork is bad, and perhaps the artwork is quite good. But the fact is that all the experts in the chat and obviously on the panel are saying that this is about inking and the particular implement you choose for inking. And if you have a time deadline, you can really poop the bed because it's like you're smearing feces over really, really nice art. So and this is indicative of what you're seeing on your screen right now is indicative of what I'm referring to.
Yeah,
it looks very naive, looks very rough, it looks very sharp and edgy, and it looks dumb. It's terrible. It's not good, and it doesn't match the art underneath it, and that's I think what I'm sensing.
Past few he's been showing us Sam Keith and some other artists.
Yeah, he's
not on Windsor Smith anymore.
Yeah, Windsor Smith is
Here's what I was telling you about.
Best.
They had multiple stars of this comic for a while in terms of characters.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine, you know, they kept putting him in so long because he sells comics.
Yeah.
Hello, Courtney.
Yep. Hey, Courtney. Yeah, and that Ghost Rider was popular in the early 90s. And I told you, like, we're at my comic book shop back then. And, like, people, who are these suits coming in, buying in, taking every issue of Ghost Rider, you know? So for a while, everyone thought Ghost Rider was going to be the next big thing. And people were speculating back then on all the comics. But this like, that art is just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible, but not art, ink.
90s art.
Hungry Boy is reiterating here. Bad inks ruin great pencils, Raquel. And a hard deadline kills inks. Deadlines can kill Tom Palmer's inking.
You know, I wasn't the biggest Tom Palmer guy. You know art better than I do, Hungry Boy, but I always thought he was a little overpowering on sometimes. I mean, and sometimes, I don't know. On Adams, I guess. But I don't know. But everyone likes him, so. Byrne loves him, for God's sake, for some reason.
Yep.
Palmer was up. I mean, yeah, he overpowered people. Whoa.
Well, here, I'll show that foil cover from Silver Surfer real quick.
I was thinking of Eric when I did that pull. I want to.
Yeah, I changed his name last night, by the way.
Oh, did you?
I called him the Bronze Surfer. Then it just dawned on me that he needs an original name. So he's the Bronze Wrencher.
Bronze Wrencher, yeah. When I saw the Silver Surfer, I was like, oh my goodness. And so, yeah, because I know
Smurfer.
Yeah.
So there's the foil cover, but it's not bad for that one. It's not bad, I have to say.
It is a very interesting conversation surrounding the idea of this sort of post-production addition of foil, the way it changed the cover prices, the way it changed the supplier, the way it changed demand, the fact that it then became a fad. Really super interesting. So I'm glad I pulled that one.
Steve, I definitely will, dude. I will definitely show some bowling stuff.
Yep.
Well, I got a Sergeant Rock right here.
And then we had holographic covers. Don't forget that trend too.
Oh, hologram covers, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Cards,
wow. Sounds sucky.
And then they had
that's why I wasn't. I was barely touching Marvel at the time when they were doing that crap, or DC. It was just good.
Well, I have a comic in front of me. It's my last pull.
Okay.
And this one I actually love. I'm over the moon for it. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful cover. It is Marvel Comics. It is $2.50 US, $2.95 Canadian. It is issue number 50. Is published in January. It was £1.35 in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
It is called Marvel Comics Codename Wolverine, Weapon X File, Top Secret, 30th Anniversary, 1961 to 1991, The Fantastic Four.
So that would be.
I think that bottom part of the Fantastic Four. That's just a in the little box at the bottom.
Yeah, it's in the little box at the bottom, just like you said, my comic book genius.
Codename Wolverine, what you said that was?
Yeah, this is what Codename Wolverine Top Secret, and it says Weapon X File on the side of it, and it looks exactly like an envelope you would put in a filing cabinet.
Yep.
And it even has a beautiful little paper clip on it, and it's got a priority clearance only, not to be seen by Major Logan stamped on it, and then it's torn through. So just the whole
Wolverine claws. I remember this one.
Yeah,
is that a Wolverine comic? What would that be?
It's a regular issue of Wolverine. They put code name at the top. It's just an actual Wolverine, though.
Yeah,
Wolverine number 50.
It's great.
Is that the first series, you think? Or
yeah, it was from 91. It was Wolverine's first series. His regular. His first series was the miniseries. If you want to be technical about it. It should be Wolverine volume. They may list this volume 2 because of the miniseries, but you don't remember the yellow cover with.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks exactly like a file folder. This is brilliant. Whomever came up with this concept, I think that this is an amazing concept. To turn the comic into a file folder and then make it a secret file. I think that this is very clever. I think it's beautiful to look at. and with the art peeking through in the back, just really, really great. Love this.
Yeah, it's a die cut cover. Yep.
We called them die cut covers, and they had a. Here, I'll show you the a bigger picture of it if you want to see.
Yeah, that one's small. Sorry, guys. Yep.
Sorry.
That's Larry Hama. Yep, was the writer, and Silvestri.
Hama was writing it for a while. Mark Silvestri. This is. Did he do the interior on that one? I was working for a friend's shop at the time, and I was filling folders, and I looked at this. I was like, oh God, are you kidding me with this gimmick? Suck it. I didn't buy it.
I bought it. I bought it.
I was a little older, dude.
I love this. I think that this is just absolutely brilliant, coming from like a nerd background and thinking about publishing and how to encase things and how to get people to change their mind in perception about what they're seeing. And so this whole idea of it being a secret file and it being a comic book, I think it's brilliant and beautiful. I love it.
Look, there's all the crap that came. Yeah. There's open right there. That's
it was pretty cool comic.
Right
yeah, and look at it. See what I mean? It looks like a file inside. I'm not going to open this because it's bagged and boarded, but yeah, I think that this is just absolutely brilliant. This is something that I would do in one of my technical documents when I'm rendering a document for a company, just to grab someone's attention or to reorient someone's interest, to get them to sort of shift their perception. I think it's so cool. And that's my final pick, folks.
It's a good one. Yep. So that's that first Wolverine comic. That's up to almost $50 now. Wow.
Yeah. So 3 items that I thought sucked for different reasons. Ren and Stimpy, because I was wondering if it was the comic book person was also the same person who did the cartoon. The next one, of course, being the Silver Surfer, because I was thinking of Eric being a surfer. The Bronze Surfer. And I thought that the whole idea of putting foil on the front of the cover was interesting. It's not something I was aware of. Next, we have Evil Ernie, just looking at those horror comics that I absolutely hate. Then Weapon X, I found the inking. I guess I've learned now to refer to it as inking, not art, but I found the inking to be incredibly odd and didn't like it. And then Wolverine, because I thought that the packaging was extremely clever. And I don't agree with Clobby, which is not usual because I usually agree with him on everything. For the file folder, I didn't feel like that was gimmicky. I felt like it was really slick. I thought that it was very cerebral and super sexy for people in publishing who like nerd out on that kind of stuff. So those are my picks, folks.
Oh, I did say it was a good gimmick. It was.
Yes,
it was
it
a
is.
Smart gimmick.
Yeah.
Now this
Laura
issue
Harrison,
wasn't this. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, wasn't this the issue that Wolverine had his hair cut off and it grows back within the same issue?
I wasn't reading the series at the time, but yeah, I think that could have been the one.
I think no, because that was someone wrote Stan Lee and he was answering something like, well, does Wolverine's hair grow back? And then
I guarantee you Stan didn't answer him.
No, and then but then someone had a no prize. But remember in Wolverine, and I'm guessing this was this issue where his hair got cut off and it grew right back. So I think that's the issue. I can't. Maybe someone in the chat remembers. The Phantom's not here. He would.
May I please interrupt? I beg your pardon. I do apologize, but I just have to tap the brakes for a second. Our resident Limerick expert, Max Redstone, says he has class tomorrow. So he has to go to bed, and that he left a review for me on Amazon.
Right.
Oh,
I
cool.
love you, Max. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Did you write a limerick for the review
Was it
too?
a limerick review?
No.
In addition to the
A fellow
Yeah, of
author.
course.
So I'm very excited. I will go and look at that as soon as I have a chance. Max, I just love you so much. Thank you so much for doing that for me. And thank you for supporting my work. And I'm so excited for your limerick book. And get to bed. You have class tomorrow.
Alaric Harrison, good to see you.
Hey!
Asks, do you remember a comic called Dragonfly by AC Comics? ? No question mark. It was AC Comics. Really nice art with a great heroine character. That was in the 80s. I never bought AC that much. I sold a lot of them. I know Jerry Ordway actually did some work over there for them. That was Bill Black's AC Comics. We used to jokingly refer to that as AC Abundant Cleavage Comics. So I got to admit, I never bought it much or anything, or never bought it, but I remember I sold a lot of it. So to answer your question in too long a roundabout a way, yes, I do remember it, but I can't say I read it.
Is this the right comic? Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Jerry Ordway did some
great memory.
Early 80s, mid 80s of AC Comics.
And this is why everyone declared mutiny when he said that I wasn't allowed to call him a comic book genius. He is a comic book genius. Yeah. One thing I will say about these Dragonfly comics is I definitely think that they're very sexy. I wish I could see them a little closer, but they're very sexy.
Let me find you a big picture of
them. You can look. You know what happened? I have a 4K monitor, so then you show it on the screen, it doesn't.
Give me a second.
You can't zoom in. Yeah.
Yes.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry. I bet you guys. I hate interrupting you. Steve has to leave.
All right, buddy.
Good night, Steve Mitchum. Take care.
Good night, Steve, honey.
I found this comic is. I mean, AC Comics are kind of obscure. I mean, they still make some, believe it or not. But you got if you put Dragonfly, you'll get a million other things in the Google unless you put AC Comics. So I did that. There we go.
She looks beautiful. I can't see it up front.
Kind of
looks as though her tuchus is a little flat. She looks like she's got pancakes for a tuchus. But I do like the sexy comics. I like the celebration of the human form. I think it really elevates comics when what was the turn of the phrase that I was taught last week? Meat and teeth. I like things that aren't meat and teeth. I love this showing that comics can be an elevated form of art. So I definitely like the bodies, the celebration of the bodies, and not even in a sexual way, but in this beautiful human way that reminds me of fine art.
Yeah, I mean, AC, I'll put it to you like this. Eventually, I mean, they were kind of a niche for a lot of people. I mean, they didn't really compete too much for the market in the 80s, but they held their own. And I knew people that we sold a few, you know, I mean, wasn't it the biggest seller or anything?
No. See, that's a nice body. And in the back, he looks good. His thighs look good. Nice proportions.
Oop.
But I can't see it up close, and neither can Hungry Boy. So, and where's Decepticon? Decepticon, what do you think of this? Stuart? What do you think? Didi? Sherry? Kal-El? What do you think of this stuff? I mean, this is gorgeous, I think. This one on the right, everyone. I think she looks absolutely sensational. Sexy.
24/7 was there to say, blow that shit up. Yep.
Blow that shit up.
That's beautiful. Don't you think that's pretty?
No, it's good art. Yep. Good art. Yeah. She is very pretty. Yep.
Yep.
And it's not out of proportion, you know, well, it's not out of proportion, but it's drawn, you know, it's not.
That like one, I'm not too particular on that one. That's flapjack bum there, as as Hungry Boy called it. No booty flapjacks. I like that one though. I love that. Can you see how I'm missing Dream Girl? I was all prepared to do my Dream Girl this year, and then the Comic-Con here got canceled.
Got vitted.
Yeah, I can't wait to do my Dream Girl. I'm so excited. Yeah, you know what I mean, Didi? Isn't this beautiful? Yes, Decepticon. It is very tasteful. And yes, not like unreal excesses of other female figures. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about, Decepticon, where you have this beautiful, respectful admiration for the human form, and you can feel that coming off the page. Really, really beautiful images.
Yep, that's what I was trying to get at, and Sean put it in much better words. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tastefully done. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I gotta admit, I didn't buy the AC Comics that much, Alaric, but I knew people that did, and again, we sold a few of them.
Thank you for the suggestion, Alark. That was a wonderful little discussion and a wonderful exemplar. Does anybody else have anything obscure? I'm always looking for things that are obscure. One, because I love to show how brilliant Clobby is, because no matter how weird it is, and even if it's not something he's even read, he's like, oh, that.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to throw into the pot, and we'll give it a stir?
Well, I tell you what while they do that, Raquel, were you saying that you've never really seen any Frank Frazetta art?
I have not, boss man.
Well,
I have not. I only know what you've taught me.
Let's pay tribute to our wonderful, good old buddy, Mark C.
Okay.
Whom we miss very much. He was a Frank Frazetta freako. He loved him. It was one of his favorites. This guy was such a badass. Frank Frazetta hung out with Clint Eastwood. Okay, that's how cool he is.
No way.
He also did the original concept art for the original Battlestar Galactica TV series.
Oh, wow.
So, and again, I guess this won't get me in too much trouble showing some Frazetta art.
Nope.
And that's not too much not really base nudity, but it's Molly Hatchet covers.
Oh my goodness.
Frank Frazetta was he was a monster. It was fantastic. Beautiful. And John Carter, I love his John Carter art right there.
That does not look like I'm familiar with that image. Okay, so I know this image because isn't this on my John Carter?
Could be. It's on a lot of the books.
That might be on one of my older copies of my John Carter. I think I actually have that one. But I'm not sure which bookcase I have that in. Otherwise, I would pull it. But what bookcase is that one in?
That's right. He did the poster for the Gauntlet. For Clint Eastwood, the Gauntlet, the Clint Eastwood film. But look at that. He did early designs for Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, isn't he a cutie patootie? Look at his obituary, the photo of him.
One day I will visit the Frazetta Museum. It's way up, not too far from you somewhere, Mark. And I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
There he is, the man right there. He is.
When you drive up, yep.
Oh, he's cute. He was cute when he was younger. Look at he's looking a little Clint Eastwood there in the bottommost picture.
Clint Eastwood, you say? Clint Eastwood, you get Frazetta.
I love Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is a tall glass of water for ladies, and I'm one of those ladies.
Clint Eastwood. Let's see here, because they have met and they palled around. He did you remember the Clint Eastwood film, The Gauntlet?
Mm-hmm.
There they are right there.
Jeez. I mean, he
did the poster for the film.
In that room. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's a
man.
Ooh.
I love it from Frazetta.
Hungry Boy, yeah, I can tell that when he was in his 30s, he was gorgeous. That I noticed immediately. He's quite a looker. And Hungry Boy, now I see why you brought that up and why Clobby was like, yeah, let's show her that. That is beautiful art. Hungry Boy, his work does not look like comics. It looks like paintings.
He did comics in the 30s and 40s and 50s for a while. He did Flash Gordon comics. He did Western comics. It's just later he went on to do fantasy art, and set the template for the fantasy novel cover. And again, like I said, the Molly Hatchet cover. But this, I think that, it's just funny that he did a movie poster like that. It's just, look at it. He was a genius. I met his daughter and his granddaughter stuff at some cons and talked to him and everything way after he passed, unfortunately. And they were very nice. And corresponded
Boss Man, this looks like a comic to me, hon.
Yeah.
This one that either you or Mark is showing right now on the right, that does look like a comic. But that first image that you showed me, that looked like a painting. This gentleman is very, very talented.
He is to fantasy artists what Kirby is to regular comic artists.
Okay, yeah.
He's the king of that.
They're remarkable.
I love Boris. I love the brothers Hildebrandt, and I love some other ones. But Frazetta's the king when it comes to that.
Oh, Hungry Boy has confirmed my suspicions.
What's
Raquel, he studied fine art. He did comics for the money, and then he moved on to book covers.
Yep.
Hungry Boy, I love you. And what is Decepticon saying? That's another brilliant person. What's he saying? They showed the Frazetta art in TV Guide. Oh, it just jumped.
Yeah, the Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. Okay, we talked
TV
about that.
Guide, or was it on the cover or just inside? I can't remember now.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah.
So he did, according to my software, he did 317 comic books.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but way before he started doing the other stuff. Yeah, I like the guy he inspired too. A great cover artist by the names of James Bama.
What is this?
I love Doc Savage.
Who is this?
James Bama, one of the greats.
Wow.
He was a mass. I say Doc Savage is a favorite character of mine, but Bama did a lot of other stuff too. But his Doc Savage stuff.
Oh my God.
His Doc Savage covers are fantastic. And I've always thought it doesn't look exactly like Frazetta or anything, but I think, it's definitely, he's the Frazetta of pulp artists for sure.
Well, that cowboy in the previous set of images, that cowboy directly in the middle of the page with that sort of Marlboro grizzled leathery face, just absolutely beautiful. So much character. This is what I mean when I say visage and countenance and that a strong art is evocative. And wow, that in that previous, I wish you could go back.
I will go back to
previous selection of images, Clobby. That cowboy was unbelievable.
Let me get back to that. But see, Hungry Boy, love Bama. He knows his Bama.
This doesn't look like this image on the right. This red image of Doc Savage. That does not look like a comic book art. That looks like a photograph.
Yeah. He was brilliant. I mean, I love Doc Savage. No fear of the man of bronze.
That is very, very nice. But let's go back to look at this. Look at these beautiful cowboys. Look at them. So, Clobby, you have the first line, the second line, then the third line. May I please see the third image in the third line and the fourth image in the third line? I think it's the fourth image is the fourth image.
That one?
It says James Bama 1926.
I'm on you said the third line, right?
I think or is it the second line? It's the second line now, hun.
Okay, the third image or the fourth?
It's the second. Yeah, that one.
It's kind of a small picture, unfortunately, but yeah.
What's the res on that? We can't make that bigger?
No, it's tiny. You know how it is with these Google searches. It's tiny sometimes.
Yeah, you get what you...
Yeah, you never know. But anyway, it was great.
Really, just look at that. Like, that's
James Bama, American realist. That's what they call it.
Sorry if my microphone is too loud now, but I sat up in my desk because I was so excited by what I saw. I just love this art.
I always wanted. I saw this book somewhere before. I think. I don't know if this one or not, but I know Minimus has a Bama book. But of course, you have a lot of his art on Doc Savage covers. But yes, he was brilliant.
Yeah,
I found a couple of covers too. I can show once you
go for it.
Let's see.
I can look at comic book and fantasy art all day. So.
This is from the program. I did the search. So here's an Untamed Love cover. If you click on.
with only 3 colors. Yeah.
Yep.
Frazetta was amazing.
So this was that's pretty cool.
That's gorgeous. And you know what this reminds me of? Reminds me of the 1979, maybe 1980 cover of Tarzan, of the Tarzan novels. It's evocative of that style. Cool.
And then these are all the books he worked on. So this some of these aren't covers, but
yeah.
So he worked on some adventure comics actually. It's not his cover.
He did. No, he did some interiors.
Yeah, look how cool that cover here.
He did some Western comics. He worked a little bit for National, which would later be DC.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Oh, I liked that one. I love Adventure Comics. I think they're so pretty.
I mean, these aren't his covers, but yeah, that is cool.
No,
yeah.
like look at this. Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Look at it. Yes, it's gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous it is. Look at the pants. I just look at the style of the art. Just and look at Superman clearing the snow.
I'd love to have Superman clear my snow. Yeah. 1951.
Adventure Comics number. Is that 161?
That
wasn't even Superman. That was Superboy. Superboy and Company Sidewalks.
Yep, Superboy.
For 50 cents.
Is that 161? Wow.
161.
What a beautiful Superman.
So he did the interior art.
Not on the Superboy story, though. I don't think.
But probably not. I don't know how many stories. Yeah, they probably had 4 stories in that one, right? 52.
Oh yeah, 52 pages. There was a lot of stories.
Sort by cover artist here. If I can do, can I do a sort by cover?
I mean, the cover artist, I couldn't even begin to speculate if it was Al Plastino or or Schaffenberger or
some of them they don't.
Burnley.
They don't list. They don't list. You know,
a lot of times they don't give you cover artists.
Yeah, well, that's why. Yeah, so they don't have it. So like that's why they would love to have you on this program and go in and. Look, here's a Kirby cover with.
Well, you can tell a Kirby cover, but some of them, I have that
with interior. Yeah.
Oh, I know I sounded like, but I do have that.
$9. Yeah. So let's see. Let's do some of the cover where they list the covers. Here we go, Frank Frazetta, because now we can see the covers that the Adventures of Snowman.
Look at that! Wow, Frazetta cover of Adventures of Snowman.
Unbelievable.
He didn't do a lot of covers though. I always wanted.
Hungry Boy says, notice that the woman on that cover is super sexy. Oh, it's gone.
He liked it. He liked being a little toxic.
What did he say here? Super sexy, but fully clothed, Raquel. Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree, Hungry Boy. And this is what I mean. It's celebrating sexy, but in a different way than we do today, where it is admiration. You don't need to engage with the subject. Merely admire the subject and admire the human form. And not through the lens of desire, but through the lens of appreciation. And I totally agree with you, Hungry Boy. It's so beautiful, and I love art. Art is just.
Go back to that Buster Crab. I didn't have it, but a shop I worked for had it for a while. On the cover, that Buster Crab issue.
Okay. Yep.
The great Buster Crab, of course.
Yep.
The first Flash Gordon and first Buck Rogers. Matthew Pounder. Yeah, I actually, many years ago on my show, I had Greg Theakston on and interviewed him. He was one of the closest to Kirby. And he was a pretty good, and yes, Pure Imagination, you're right. His books took forever to come out. I bought most of them. Wow. He was a grumpy old grump.
And 6 says women can be sexy and modestly dressed. Yeah. Yes, most certainly. But also a woman can be completely naked and not be sexy. She can just be a part of nature and just be alive. Well,
look at Tasha Yar's sister in the episode you guys just reviewed.
I did look at her.
And the jumpsuit or the catsuit that she was wearing. She was fully clothed, but she looked very cute, right? So.
Yes. But a woman can also be entirely naked and not exhibiting any type of desire, and men don't need to express desire either. When we look at some of the greatest works of art ever created by human beings, we see a celebration of the human form, a celebration of the bizarreness of our bodies and the majesty and the miracle of our bodies. So. It's art brings all of these ideas to the surface to be discussed, and that's why art is so important.
Yeah, these are great covers.
Yeah.
Love those dinosaurs. Yep. But he's there you go. There's the Buck Rogers that. Clobberin Times is mentioning. Famous funnies.
Rogers. Oh my goodness.
Look at that cover. Yep.
Yeah. I wish we could get it so much bigger.
54. Yeah, I can't. Unfortunately, that it's usually people that own the issue, and then they scan them and then they put them in the program. So Oh, here's a little bit bigger one. Yep, Buck Rogers. Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. So these all Frazetta works, and you can only imagine what the
Gorgeous.
original artwork is going. These are too small, so I'll skip through them.
But just that last cover
Yeah,
was just
look at that one.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, he did a lot of famous funnies, if I remember right.
Yeah. Funny stuff.
Oh yeah, he had some great Conan art, no question about it. Some great Conan art from Frazetta. I mean, he pretty much defined how Conan would look. I mean, visually, in a sense, I think, anyway, from all those old covers.
I do reveal that
Yeah.
dark side in some of my work. I am known for my violent stuff, but the funny stuff is the real me. And that's a quote from Frank Frazetta.
That guy, yeah.
And that's Ralph
Bakshi.
Yep, from famous animator. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's right. All right, let's see. Are there any Flash Gordon comics in your collection? Mark D with a C. I got a few.
I got a few, but not that many.
I have a couple of the original Alex Raymond reprint hardcovers from the early 70s. Oh, dude, these were reprinted in the early 80s. And I bought them. I couldn't wait because he did a lot of Shining Knight backups.
There you go.
Yeah. Adventure comics and stuff. And I bought both of these when they came out. I think there were only two, maybe more.
Yeah, the two of them. Yep, exactly.
Boss Man?
1 and 2. Yep.
Yes.
6 is actually asking a question that we answered and discussed last week at 23 minutes past the hour. Could we put that up on the marquee and address 6's question, please?
Yes and no. 6, there are some artists who have, as far as, yes, there was a time when marketing was such that they were trying to get, and Hungry Boy is far, I always feel like a fool now saying it in front of Hungry Boy because he was there. I only know things from reading about him, but there were lots of times when the old bait and switch was necessary, or at least that they thought they were, where they would have a really amazing cover on something with interior art that they may not was the best. But I can tell you that there are a couple of artists who were not all that fast that made a living for themselves as cover artists. Not many, but some. For example, Brian Bolin, who's a great artist, who's done a lot of great interior work, but was slow as molasses. And so he made a name for himself. He was known, but he made a career out of just doing covers. He did Animal Man covers and Wonder Woman covers and a bunch of other covers throughout the 90s. You almost never saw him do any interior work at that point. And then there's a guy who I've met a couple of times and friendly with, and he's still a great artist today, named Dave Dorman, who's almost never done any interior stuff, but he's done great covers. He did the covers for the first Dark Horse Star Wars comics called Dark Empire, and a ton of other comics, and that was what really helped sell those comics. Dave Dorman never does interior. So there are a few artists who are just career cover artists. And but most are not. There aren't that many who make a career out of doing covers, other than now maybe like an Alex Ross and something. Alex Ross might be another one, yeah.
Yep.
I know that was a dumb way to answer it, but
I think I just bought the Art of Alex Ross for $1 on Comicology.
Huh? Oh, I got that.
Yeah,
got that. Yeah, got that cheap. Oh, they had that. I found that was finally like $12 or something at Barnes and Scrotum.
Yeah, God, it was cheap. Yeah,
I almost called it what I call Barnes and Noble balls, and I can't say it. You
can't say. Yeah,
I can't say what I call it.
Can't say it.
Oh, Dorman. Show. Oh, look, she knows Dorman. There you go.
Yeah,
he's a nice dude, by the way.
See what I mean? There are lots of women and men who love being around you, Clobby, and love being around Mark and the rest of our community of comic book experts, because, it's everyone has a varying level of knowledge of the comic book. So it's so great to create a level playing field for everyone to come here to discuss it, because it brings these comics back to life, that we all get to talk about it and ask and answer questions. So I think it's terrific, 6.
No, 6 in times before that, though, there were some other artists who did interior work, but also made a living on covers as well. And I mean, one of these days, I'm just going to do my list of the greatest cover artists. Gil Kane covers, Nick Cardy covers, even Kirby, King of Comics, who did his, was an interior artist. Usually almost always did the covers for his own books. But when he went back to Marvel in the 70s, when he went after leaving to go to DC for a while, when he came back, he did a couple of interior books regulars, but he also did tons of covers because Marvel said, look, we got Jack. He's fast. He can make himself a lot of money, and we can sell comics with Kirby covers. So,
when was the first Flash Gordon comic?
It was a comic strip from 1930. Was it 31?
So the 30s. So what do you think?
Alex Raymond.
So what do you think here? If I'm looking at all these Flash Gordon,
you didn't watch Mark C and I did give the history of Flash, 80-year history of Flash Gordon last year.
I'm not sure if I watched that. I gotta watch that one.
I actually think I remember.
We had a blast. Yes, a little over a year ago, we did the 80 saving the universe for 80 years, and we did a history of the Flash Gordon because we both love him. Alex Raymond's Flash Gordon strip started in 1930. What is it? I want to say 33, 34, maybe 34, something like that. I forget it, but anyway, it was right up in there somewhere. So yes, Buck Rogers came before him, but in book form, in pulp form. But love me some Flash Gordon.
No, I'm just trying to find the earliest the publisher that had the.
Oh well, it wasn't comics for a while. It was King.
Yeah, once it came to comics, I'm wondering what the first actual.
The first one to do comics of Flash Gordon was probably. I want to say Dell or Goldkey or something like that.
Yeah, Dell. This one is 1953.
Well, Dell ended up becoming Goldkey, so I think they were the first one to do comics, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
that's an interesting question. Let's see. Yeah, so there's Dell. That's 53.
No one really brought textual.
This is a new one, Dynamite.
I always thought Ross looked like Dorman, a little bit like Dorman to me, Hungry Boy in a sense. And I like Ross as a person. But I love his work. But
oh my goodness, 6! What a beautiful thing to say. Yeah, absolutely. I think 6. I have so much to learn from you. And we all have so much to learn from one another. If we're all sharing our knowledge, we just all become really close friends, and we turn what we know into a celebration that we share. So I'm so glad that you got that impression, and I'm so glad that you're here. I love your company, and I'm glad you're having a great time.
I think absolutely. By the way, I could concur with. I think it was Dell or Goldkey that got it. That started. I don't know if they're reprinting the Keen feature stuff or not, but that's a good question. Now you got me wondering. All right, what's I do?
Now I'm trying to think.
By the way, Matthew Pounder, Mac Rayboy was a genius. Good guy. Was he brilliant? I loved him. And we have Elvis's look. In a sense, we have the look of Elvis. Mac Rayboy to thank for that because Mac Rayboy did Elvis's favorite comic book, Captain Marvel Jr.
Oh, 6, I love you too. You're such a beautiful person. I love hanging out with you. No matter what room we're in, you're just such a wonderful person. It's so good to know that that you're in whatever room I'm in because you're such a great conversationalist and wonderful to be around. I love you too.
King Comics.
Yeah,
King Features.
This was 66.
Wow.
Yeah, there were Flash Gordon comics before that, though.
Yeah,
Al Williamson. Oh my God, I love Al Williamson.
Wow,
the greatest. He's the greatest, both Star Wars and Flash Gordon artist, I think.
Yeah,
and he's and his adaptation of the Sam Jones Flash Gordon movie was fantasto.
Yeah. God, this is gorgeous. This is stupidly beautiful. This is beautiful. So this to me. Oh my goodness! This is Captain Nemo. This is Tarzan. I love that style of art. Not this one, the one previous.
Yeah, the first. Sorry, I was
No, that's okay, sweetheart.
Yep.
Some of these different artists. There was.
Yeah, so
Mac Rayboy did from Flash Gordon.
Nice. Boss man, I'm so sorry to interrupt you while you're talking.
Sorry?
Decepticon's got to leave. Decepticon, I'm so happy that you came here tonight. Thank you so much for teaching me
thanks,
things,
man.
and you're just so great. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Have a terrific evening.
Take care, Sean. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for watching. Yep.
Kurt Swan's favorite inker. Yeah, Al Williamson. It's strange that he went to inking later and inked Kurt Swan. I always thought that was a strange combination. But how could he have been more Kurt Swan's favorite inker than Murphy Anderson, though? Still, I love him. The Pat Boyette. You know, I never was that big on Pat Boyette, but that was actually a really good cover right there. These covers here are pretty decent.
These are good. Yeah, these are good. Yeah.
Boss man, I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry to interrupt you while you're talking to Mark. But the great D. Bud Martin has also got to turn in. So D. Bud, good night, honey. Mwah,
Take care, D. Bud.
Take it easy, buddy. Good to see you, man. I've got after you get through that, we've got some art to show.
I like this. I love this.
Yeah, Pat Boyette. See that right there is what him giving his effort. This right here is him not giving his effort.
Ew, that's terrible.
Yeah,
same artist,
same guy, right? Yeah.
Well, no one has a perfect day every day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
True. But I mean, there's not having a perfect day, and then there's pooping all over yourself. That one needs the Clobbe'S.
Again, these guys had deadlines sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I've never done that. Stay up all night trying to get my term paper in at the last minute, and cut some corners. Right? Yeah. Never ever did that for anyone listening out there. I was never known to stay up till 6 a.m. working on that history paper. Yep.
And I can tell when you've written it the night before, just so you know, Mark, you should have your paper done at least a week beforehand so that you have time to review it, and also to make sure that you go through all the varying stages of editing. And now look at what you're doing. You just put all sorts of sexy on the screen. We have reached the part of the evening where we are at the gold keys, folks.
Gold keys.
The gold keys.
And I didn't even have Grammarly to help me back then either.
Hey, Dad. Hello again, Dad, man.
Hey, Dad, man.
Yeah, I love these gold key covers.
Yes, gold keys are they're fine. They are fine.
And people are appreciating them now, too.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. You know, you could have found these in the quarter bin probably a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
No,
still can with some of these.
Yeah.
I mean, they ain't no such thing as quarter bins anymore, but they're at least dollar bins.
Dollar bins, yeah. That's a cool cover. I like that one. Yeah.
Right, Matthew Pounder? It's like, do you want it good or do you want rubbish?
I have this comic.
Why is Flash Gordon wearing shorts?
I have this comic.
I don't know.
Why is it not checked off that I own it? I own this comic, so I'm marking this as owned.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I know it because this was you just know the comics that you own. Like I own this one, and I own this, but I just remember that what year was this? 80. Yeah, my grandfather brought me back this comic.
This is when there was starting just regurgitate the Whitman redoing the gold key stuff over and over again, but
I'm like, they got Flash Gordon riding a shark. It's like, I'm like, what? I gotta read this.
Says those don't look like shorts.
Yeah,
that looks like a mini skirt.
Mini skirt, yeah, right.
See these photo covers. Do you have the movie?
I don't have the movie.
That was the regular comic. They did an album. The interior that's fantastic because it's by Al Williamson, but I have the quote unquote graphic novel version of this. No one can find it. Mark was going nuts when I showed him that I had it because it's really real tough to find. It was one of the things he was trying to find. But this is how Marvel would do the super special reprint, and then they'd cut them in the comics. They'd break them off in the comics. I like that cover.
Ooh. Yeah. Hungry Boy says, jump the shark? Screw that. Ride the shark.
Good one, Hungry Boy. Yep.
Wonderful, yes, Hungry Boy.
Yeah, see, that cover doesn't do it for me.
No, it doesn't do it for me either.
Yeah.
You're spoiled by the painted covers, Raquel.
I am. You ruined me, Clobby. Clobby showed me the best. Clobby's
that's a deadline cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Pounder might have been your deadline.
And let me just flip through these quick.
And Bolin, yeah.
Just to see how old these were. That's 66, 93, 2003.
Well, these are some of those reprint books.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find
I have
anything
some of those.
if there was anything in the 40s here.
It's one of those Marvel ones that just reprinted a lot of. I bought these because it had Al Williamson stuff in it.
Dadman Walkings is speaking for the Dadman clan. He says, my oldest kid stresses to get her university papers done days ahead. Good girl. She's a good girl. And she's always on the group members not to procrastinate. Yeah, it's group work is not good. I don't make my students work in groups unless it's just a discussion. I think it's not good. Group work is not good. What usually ends up happening are all those terrible memes you see on the internet where one person does all the work and everyone else just comes up with different excuses at varying times during the deadline. And so yeah, I don't do that. So Dad Matt?
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say my son just had a presentation for his one of his classes, and only 2 kids did the work, and they got a really bad grade. Of course, the teacher's dropping the last one, but then they told the teacher, like, well, 2 of the kids wouldn't really do any work, so we didn't have time to, do a good job on the paper. But which is always unfair too, I think.
I think a lot of professors do it and a lot of teachers do it because then it's easier to mark, because a lot of teachers and a lot of professors and a lot of instructors don't like the marking aspect. First of all, because it's a lot of work. And second of all, because, a part of the pedagogy is getting people to work in teams like they will work in real life. But I don't believe in that. I think that is a colossal waste of time. I think what ends up happening is that, you can the reaction is either, well, in real life, if they did that, they would get fired. So that's one way of looking at it, which I agree. There's no punishment there for group work because it's a group grade. So if you are going to do that type of group work, I think that everyone should be marked individually. And I also don't like the fact that it creates the group dynamic where if you do nothing, you don't really get into trouble. And if you're forced to do everything, you look as though you've commandeered the project.
Yeah,
and then people sort of say, well, he did the whole project on his own. He did that himself. And so I just don't like that it creates fighting. And I don't think that it's enough of an excuse to say, well, in the real world, because in the real world, you get fired. So, group work is not good. It's not good in university. I think it totally stresses kids out. And I'm so glad that the Dadman clan is there for their beautiful daughter and, stand behind her. And, don't let those professors off the hook. Make them accountable.
I have this, and this is, I didn't realize how until last year. Mark was ready to say, you know how hard that is to get that?
Really tough to find.
It took me a while to get it because, I was looking at it because the movie, you say what you want about it. It's the Sam J. Jones movie. It's fun. But the great thing about it is the comic isn't campy like that. The comic's it's Al Williamson, and he's, one of the greats. So as you can see, they have a Sam J. Jones picture, but they have Al Williamson art surrounding him, of course. So, it's great stuff, great art.
Mm-hmm.
So just really tough to find. What's it worth? Let's see.
I don't know.
Price $4. But just tough to find, I guess. Yep.
It said, show Raquel the original Golden Age vision, then the December 60s version. Okay, I will. Your wishes, my command, sir. I can almost do it from right here.
Yeah, 6. That is what usually happens with people who succeed. They wind up having to commandeer the whole project. Otherwise, the project's in jeopardy and their grades are in jeopardy. And I don't appreciate the fact that pressure is put on students. I know students have a great deal of difficulty socializing in university. It's hard to adjust. And there are many poor students whose parents can't afford university. And so a lot is riding on it. Sometimes they're the first in their family to ever attend post-secondary education. So I just think it's really unfair, and I don't think it's helpful. I think that if you're going to do group work, you need to make everyone accountable the way that they would be in real life, and not just say, well, this is kind of like real life, because it really leaves a lot of people very stressed out, and it can cost some people, including costing some folks their funding. So it's not very nice.
Yeah, and some scholarships you have to maintain a certain GPA too. So
that's why I don't do this to my students. They can talk about it. I love putting them into groups to talk about things and to exchange ideas and to, you know, flesh things out that way and to test things. But I don't make them accountable for one another's grades. I think it's wrong to do that, to especially to the poor students. Only very affluent students think that that nothing is on the line, and for some students, everything is on the line.
Yeah.
Those are classic, yeah.
Well, Hungry Boy wanted you to see the two different versions of the Vision, but I don't know if Raquel knows who the Vision is. Do you?
I do know who Vision is.
Oh, you've seen the Marvel movies? I didn't know.
I have. Yep. And I've not read the source material. I've never read the books.
Well, most people know the one from the movies, you know, and
That's
I
the
really,
one.
actually really like, you know, how they handle him in the movies for the most part, and I really like the way he looks and everything. But not too many people know that the original Vision, you know, is basically, oh god, his name was Arrakis or something like that, and he was an alien law enforcement officer, which is kind of funny because Martian Manhunter is kind of stolen from him.
Yeah, kind of like Martian Manhunter, was
right?
Say, right? Yeah.
But the one from the movies, of course, is an android. He's Data, basically. It's amazing how many android type characters are really based on the Vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Quester, Data.
Yes, Quester.
You know.
What about Red Tornado? How would you classify him? I mean,
pretty much very similar, but he came out. It came out right around the same time, but if I'm not getting it backwards, I believe Viz was right before him, though.
I don't know who drew that, but that's gorgeous.
Which one? That one there?
Yeah, I like that.
That's the old
I
time.
love that character on the left-hand side. I think that character is absolutely beautiful. What a beautiful body, and what a beautiful representation of what a super being would look like, a superhero. Very, very nice. Really, really like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Vision, the Marvel, I mean, the Silver Age one. I mean, you know, I like the Golden Age one, okay, but the Vision from Marvel. The android one is one of the greatest characters. You got to put Marvel, or you get all kind of crap. So if you're talking about, but again, he has a great complex story. Oh man, I hate it when they put all kind of modernity crap on you. There you go.
Is this actually an actual turn of a phrase, an actual character,
modernity?
Or is Hungry Boy being clever here? I love this super synthoid.
Yes, they used to call him synthoid. That's right.
Oh,
you know,
beautiful.
See, they've screwed his origin up a lot. Even an android can cry. That's famous. That's famous Marvel lore right there. It's from a comic called Even an Android Can Cry. He's a great character. I love the design of his outfit. I just love it. But originally, he was built off the original Human Torch, who was a synthesoid from the 40s. With was it Simon Williams' brain patterns, Wonder Man's brain patterns, but it was the body of the Jim Hammond Human Torch. But they
that's
later
why I fell in love with.
That's
why I fell in love with
Wanda.
Wanda, because Simon was in love with Wanda. Yep.
Right. So they changed it. They
now
Burn
creation of Ultron with Ultron and
I'm not going to get into how aggravated I am with Byrne for doing that, but you know.
Hungry Boy, don't you even worry even a lick about what goes on in that chat. The chat happens so quickly. There are so many conversations going on. There are so many algorithms between the platform, your telephone, only having 200 characters. Don't even worry, sweetheart. No one cares about that. It's a fast and furious discussion being had as though, you know, it's grease lightning texting. So don't worry about that stuff. We love it. We just love you, and just don't even worry about it.
Yeah, we knew you. You know your stuff too, so it's not like
honey,
you're parodying what. Yeah.
There's some Tarzan.
Yeah, Tarzan is just. That
Neil Adams stars and covers.
You want a kid to want to go to the continent of Africa and study animals and just read every National Geographic. Make them read Tarzan in grade 3. I think that's when the first time I read Tarzan was grade 3. We had a teacher who read I believe the part of the first Tarzan novel to us, and then I was like, well, I'm reading this. And just love Tarzan. Just sparks the imagination, a passion for biology, a passion for the wild kingdom and exploration. And just what a beautiful, beautiful thing for a young child. Tarzan, the Tarzan novels, just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, Troy. Yeah, absolutely. Hank Pym created Ultron, and Ultron created the Vision. So, yes. Of course, not in the MCU, though.
See, this is why I'm always saying, Clobby, like, this is why it's so important for people to realize this thing about geek expertise. Because, I've said it before on this show, and I'll say it again, and I've said it on other shows as well. I protect my books. I love my books. Nobody can change Don Quixote for me. It is what it is. And it's just so funny to me that there is no respect for the source material when it comes to comic books. But comic books are written. They are books. They're short stories. And they're little worlds unto themselves. And because, they contain stories, and there should be some fidelity to those stories. So I think it's very odd that nowadays you have these blockbuster films where people would have the audacity to call people who have read the original source material gatekeepers and say that there are no rules and that they can do this and do that. And for me, as a nerd, somebody who loves her books and very much protects her books, that makes me angry, because I think it's a completely irrational and illogical argument to have. If somebody loves comics and they read the original comics, you should shut up and listen to what they have to say about how they are rendered, how those characters in those stories are rendered in the celluloid, the same as you would regard someone who's actually read a book and then watched it in film form as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I believe, but they don't, they don't care. They like to take, again, it's just something that has aggravated me. And now we all know what's going on with all these other modern day IPs now. I mean, to everything, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, all this stuff. It started in comics, where people would, again, it was just a cutthroat industry. People would take the creations of others and completely screw around with them and change them. And if you bitched about it, you were just a whiny fanboy, and that's all there was to it. And it's now it's on a bigger scale. That's all. But this comics was one of, in other words, I'm not saying it didn't ever happen to anything else. For example, what was it? Nicholas Meyer himself took Sherlock Holmes and basically screwed him over and wrote a garbage book called The 7th Solution, which really bastardized the character, I thought, and the movie did too. But for the most part, you didn't see deconstruction done to most novel characters. Philip Jose Farmer used knockoffs to do it. In other words, ciphers of these characters to write his really filthy but interesting, not Walt Newton, but his other stuff he did when he did his knockoffs of Tarzan and Doc Savage and stuff like that. At least he made up knockoffs to do crazy stuff with them. But for the most part, in comics, it was just you could take a character, it was created by someone else, and do whatever the hell you want with it. To me, that's always been, I always viewed that as disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bossman, just on the tail end of that comment, Dee Dee's got to leave. So I would love to say goodnight to the Catman, Dee Dee Myers, and his wife. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please send your wife our best. And thank you so much for keeping us company tonight,
Absolutely. Dee Dee, thank you so much for being here.
Take care, Dee Dee.
Yeah, there's some Tarzan art, though, for you. Some great Neil Adams Tarzan covers.
Gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, and what's funny is these renderings, these covers, really are what was happening inside of your head while you were reading this. Just so wonderful.
Yeah, Boris Vallejo, Tarzan as well.
Slightly sexy.
That's beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
those
there are a lot
aren't
of great
pancakes.
Tarzan artists.
No, she's gorgeous. She's very, very pretty. Just, but look at it, just so beautiful.
Yeah,
Lions and tigers. Oh my! Yep.
I even like the Marvel's Tarzan comics. A lot of people didn't like it that much, but I like John Buscema's Tarzan. Did anybody ever watch?
I think I have that issue. Yeah,
Really?
I got that. Yeah, I think
No,
so.
yeah.
Let me check. Yeah.
If you do, you do. I actually believe you have credibility when you say that. So
yeah.
I remember when
Six. Some of this stuff, it doesn't feel like comic book art, does it? It feels like art. And you can definitely see how some folks have taken these covers and what's it called? Slabbed them, because the slabs are so beautiful, right? That's a term that I just learned
Tarzan right there.
Yeah,
did you show number? You showed number 7, right? Go up top middle. Yep, to the left one more. One more to the left. Go back. Yep, I got that. Nice. Remember, I was telling everyone I know the comics that my grandfather would bring back from around the weekend. So that issue date. Yeah, that's 77, right? So that was a good year. We got Star Wars.
How about this one off the rack?
But those are those like that's ingrained in my brain. Like I know when I see that cover, I know I own that comic instantly as you're flipping through. So thankfully I was correct.
They can't do
Thomas and Buscema. Yep.
I wish they could do at least an archives or an epic collection of these, but they can't because they'd have to pay for rights and stuff like that. I mean, I'd like it because I don't know. These are pretty good. I mean, I like John Buscema. So,
Boss man, Alaric Harrison says, speaking of disrespecting source material, the new Amazon series Wheel of Time is shredding the original novel, major wokeness, rewriting the main characters, very disappointing, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down.
Well,
Alaric, I've heard that.
I have not read Wheel of Time. It is a fantasy series of novels, if I'm not mistaken. I can't comment on it because I've not read that series. Perhaps I should, but the reason why I didn't is I've heard mixed reviews on the Wheel of Time as written novels. But you're free to put your comments in the chat. I'd love to hear what you think of the series. If you could tell us a little bit more about the series, Alaric, that'd be great.
I've been hearing that the fans of that series, and I'm sorry, fans of that, because I know how you feel. This is Matthew Pounder, Rima. That was an interesting series. Didn't last too long for DC, but that's a Kubert cover on the first issue there. And again, they have Kubert covers with Nestor Redondo insides, right? If I remember right, was it Nestor Redondo? That was an interesting comic. Look at the Kubert cover, man. I love Joe Kubert.
She's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Nestor Redondo. Again, he couldn't quite hold a candle to Wrightson when he took over Swamp Thing but Nestor was good. So, yeah. I mentioned Rima. It just made me pull it up. I don't know why.
Well, it's a shame too. Talking about like Wheel of Time when you've got an IP that you love, and I've never read those books, but I know there's a huge fan base for those series, and of course everyone's always chasing that next Game of Thrones fantasy hit, I think. And I've been hearing those same reviews too, where it doesn't sound good, unfortunately, which stinks when you're waiting for that series. And then the worst thing too is when they butcher the characters, and it's one thing to say, oh well, they could have done a better job or this or that, but when they radically change characters or swap things out, and for translating to the big screen, you've always got to take some liberties or maybe truncate some of the storylines and make some choices to get it to the screen. But like they did with Lord of the Rings, my friends are, where's Tom Bombadil in the beginning, arguing about that with all my geek and nerd friends. Like, well, they didn't have time. That was like a big point of discussion in the Fellowship of the Ring. movie. But hey, the series we got was pretty amazing. They were good, although I've had the 3-hour lecture from my Tolkien scholar friends about how they screwed up Return of the King, which I won't go into now.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was good. But that was the spirit of Lord of the Rings came through, and that's why we don't like the new Drek that's on, and we're watching it. As much as you want to talk about what you like, but it's just so disappointing. It's one thing to have. I'm trying to say is it's one thing to say, oh well, that wasn't that done. Like say Ghostbusters 2, the second movie. I think it's okay. It's Punkwaddle, that, and then when you get something that's totally, then but compare that to Ghostbusters 2016, which just makes no sense and doesn't respect the IP, then you really get upset as a fan of that series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I wish I could comment on the Lord of the Rings thing, but to be quite honest with you, I'm always shocked when people can remember the Lord of the Rings. I mean, I read the Lord of the Rings, and I think the first time I picked up The Hobbit when I started the series, I think it was a part of that reading log, the library log that I was a part of. And I think it was either grade 3 or grade 4. So I always find it remarkable that people remember books they read when they were in grade 3 and grade 4. I mean, I was a part of the library log, and I was reading I don't know, maybe 10, 15 novels a month. I don't remember intimate details from all of those books. I've read way too many books to remember all those details. So it's always remarkable to me when somebody, waits until they're 18, 19, 20, 25 years old to read Lord of the Rings, and they're not an avid reader, so they know minute details that one would not even consider remembering from childhood, having read them as childhood books, right? Same with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series, right?
I remember reading that over and over. Tom Swift was one of my favorites, but that's an old series. But read that book.
Yeah.
The Hardy Boys you would read, but yeah, I remember. Yeah, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. God, that was a great series. And you're right though. Try read. How many comic books have you read in your lifetime, Mike? I know I've read about 15 to 20,000.
Yeah.
So then
maybe 2 or 3, maybe.
2 or 3, yeah. So
6,
I'm gonna say you probably read 50,000 comics, right? Or I'm guessing.
6, when I was young, I was I was always involved with reading and writing, and reading and writing competitions and that sort of thing. And I was approached by my teacher to do a reading log, a library log, and you could get sponsorships, and then that money would go to charity. So my girlfriend and I, a friend of mine from childhood, she was as avid reader as I was. So we got together and we did library logs. So whenever it was offered at this school, I did it. So I did it most of my childhood. So you would get a chart, and you would sign a program with the principal or with your teacher, and you would collect sponsors, and you would choose a charity. Sometimes the charity would be picked for you, and you would read the books. And obviously, your teacher knew if you were actually reading them or not, and that's why they only some kids did it. And so my friend and I, we did it all the time, and I made sure I did it at every school, and it really helped me to plow through the books, and I really enjoyed it. But I also didn't watch TV. We didn't have cable. I grew up of very modest means, so there wasn't a lot of TV, and I loved reading. Just books were places that I could go. They were literally not literally, but I would open up those pages, and I felt like I was going to a different world.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, asked parents, can you get cable? TV's free. What do you think? Crazy? Go to the library and read a book if you want.
Yeah.
We never had cable at growing up. It was until we moved out years later that we got cable. My parents got cable at home. What are you, crazy? Going to pay for TV? It was tough to win that argument.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. We have another request from Hungry Boy here. Let's see here.
Another comic to show. Yep.
Okay, P. Craig Russell, of course. Well, I do put the word Elric Marvel.
Elric, yep.
Um,
let's see if we got
Elric of
Elric.
Melidabone. Let's see here.
Yeah, 6. They're places you go, aren't they? I'm so glad that you have the same relationships with books. It's
I'm
just
sorry.
they're conversations that you have with someone. I normally feel like they're conversations if they're nonfiction, and if they're fiction, I truly feel like they're places that I go, and they're you just escape inside of them. Like you can escape inside of Dune. You're taken to that world. You escape into Don Quixote, and it's a place you go, right? Dante's Inferno. That's a place you're going. You're going through the circles of hell, and you're in the Bolgia, and you're very frightened. And yeah, books are amazing.
I think books be all wordy, and I don't like boom books. Remember that idiot?
Books with lots of pictures.
It was that idiot Kanye. I mean, they quoted him saying because he didn't like books. He said, "I don't like books. Books be all wordy." He said that, but you can't argue with it. They are wordy.
Yeah,
it's true.
And he's a billionaire.
Yep. Is he wrong? It's not wrong. They are wordy.
They are wordy. Yes.
Yeah. Except that one book that Michael Knowles wrote. But he wanted me to show you some P. Craig Russell, Michael Moorcock's Elric Marvel comics. Let's see. No, it's all. There ain't no breaking in. You're here participating. We love having you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mixed
love
literature
the great
with comics
suggestions.
Show Raquel, P. Craig Russell's Elric stuff from 1982, reprinted in the 1981. Yes, that. I liked it. I mean, I liked his stuff. It was so crazy. Elric is just gorgeous art. P. Craig Russell.
I just wish you could I wish we could blow it up.
I would if I'd been prepared. I could have,
No, honey, that's okay. But it's just this stuff looks like it requires your attention, and you should have access to those beautiful details. This is quite beautiful.
Oh yeah, I mean, just
pure fantasy, beautiful fantasy.
Michael Moorcock was he wrote science fiction as well, but he was a fantasy artist, I guess.
Yeah, Stuart Mitchell. Books are subtly different for everyone because of what happens inside of your mind, and it's just you create the whole world inside of your mind, and depending upon how much detail the author gives you will depend upon how much that world takes shape. The same way for every person, right? There are some books where it's so different for everyone. So I love that comment, Stuart Mitchell.
He could set up pages beautiful. I mean, this is, again, none of these people, they're probably very talented artists out there today. I'm not saying there aren't. None of them do anything like this anymore that I know of. There's some who are good, I guess. Just it's not the same. And P. Craig Russell, again, another one of those guys that didn't do a lot as far as not a gigantic, let's just say, body of work. Yeah. I like this Killraven personally there. Hello there, Netters Network. Hello.
Hey,
Netters.
Good to see you. I started reading novels when I was 4 years old. My first book was The Hobbit. Wow.
See? Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
A lot of people's first book, I'm guessing. Yep. I had a really beautiful edition of The Hobbit illustrated with the, from the movie. So it was a picture book, but the complete text. It's just such a great book to have. Unfortunately, the binding went, so I've got to get it rebound somehow.
I think I have a first of the series.
Yeah.
I don't let anyone touch it.
Of course.
Or look at it.
They're allowed to look at. They can look at it. But they need to wash their face first.
That's a Spinal Tap.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Don't even look at it.
They have to wash their face first.
Open the cover and listen to the sustain of the words.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I know now, Hungry Boy, this is probably pretty esoteric for most people, but I know you've got to be a fan of Winsor McKay. And coming up in the next, maybe too soon to do it Monday night, but I hope you'll be here for the following Monday night. Hungry Boy, I'm going to do part 3 of the Clobberin Times Comics Creator Hall of Fame. And don't shoot me, but McKay's not in there yet, but I'm going to put him in, I think.
Has Stan made your list yet?
That'd be a no.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to put him in there.
Boo!
I'm going to put him in there.
Boo!
Without what he did.
Boo!
Without what he did, though, I mean, come on. I mean,
Boo!
there would be no Marvel Comics.
Yep.
Boo!
I'm mad at him. I could be mad at him and still recognize that
he did some great things.
he belongs in there.
Yep.
Maybe I'll wait to the 4th. I'm at the 4th wave. What about you? Think maybe the 4th wave at least? 3rd wave.
Are you doing 10 at a? How many are you doing each time? You're doing.
I do 10 each time.
10 each time. All right. Yeah. So
you
got to be in the top 50, right? Yeah.
I was just penalizing him for being an ass. I admit it. Is that wrong of me?
15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Shin kicks. Shin kicks.
Yeah. So, when Hungry Boy, you agree with McKay? Stands to reason you agree with Winsor McKay. I mean, and I'm embarrassed he's not in already. So, yeah. Imagine art like this at a time in the early 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
Little Nemo in Slumberland. He was a master. Little Nemo in Slumberland.
That you could say that, if you looked at that today, you'd say, "Oh, that's brand new," right? You wouldn't know that that's 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
The layout, and it's very inventive too. I mean, because
genius.
The panels. I mean, back most comics, you had your panels were just square panels. They didn't experiment that much with the, changing panel shape and things like that. So.
Yeah, he pretty much. I mean, when it comes to comic strips or anything, I mean, and panel arrangement to tell stories. What is it? Scott McCloud called it juxtaposed pictorial images in deliberate sequence, basically sequential art. Mm-hmm. He almost invented it. I don't know. I mean, I know Al. People say Al Cal did the first strip, was it, or whatever? Hungry Boy. I mean, but. Look what this is over 100 years ago.
Gorgeous.
I mean, and there were no such thing as comic books.
Yeah, but look at those panels.
Comic book either. They didn't call it a comic strip either.
Yeah, the height of the panels. Yeah, look at the height of the panels and the transition and how it makes your eye flow from diagonally through the panels and reading it.
The art form, I don't think it had a name yet. I'm not sure it was even named. It may have been called comics. Wow. Little Nemo is just I mean, that's turn of this. I mean, that was what?
See, this is where nerds meet geeks. We need more nerd know-how to talk about the publishing history of this great geek tradition. I mean, this is amazing. I love this angle, this whole history of this art form, of this writing form.
McKay was the Tesla of comic books, Clobby. Yeah, and before there were comics.
Eric's here.
Eric, what's up, buddy?
Hey. Hi,
Good
honey.
to see you, man.
We were talking about you earlier.
Yeah. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, so he should have been in the first wave. He'll be in the next wave. And they've got all those. Have you ever seen those big, gigantic reprint books of his stuff? And see, I only want to put like one strip artist at a time, but maybe Hal Foster needs to go in there too.
I'm with 6. That last set of the last panel in this image, if you took out the little picture-in-picture and you took away the little dialogue bubbles, that is a painting that could easily hang on anyone's mantle and they could be proud of it. Very beautiful. I love this style. 100 years old.
6? I didn't see 6.
Oh, just earlier she was saying like that some of this stuff strikes her as stuff that could be put up on the wall. You know what I mean? So I agree with her. Yeah. Oh, Eric, you have a headache, honey?
Sorry, Eric.
That's too bad. Yep. Hope you feel better. Yep.
Exactly, Matthew. I mean, this is masterful. This is genius art. True art.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you go back one? Go back one, please?
That one?
No.
This one.
No, the one with the orange image on it. The mushrooms are beautiful, but there was one that was super intense. Where did it go? Damn it.
Let me see. Let me go backwards and see.
Beautiful.
I can find, tell me when.
This is incredible. Is it that image? I just saw it for a flash. God, it's gone. Oh, this. Oh my God. This is remarkable. Oh, it's gone.
Is it gone?
Where'd it go?
Where'd it go? I'm looking right at it. Which one are you talking about?
Oh, back one more, I think.
The mushrooms?
No,
before the mushrooms. Before the
they look like highly stylized birds. One looks like a gorgeous beak.
I'm not sure. You know, he also did the first animated movie called Gertie the Dinosaur, by the way.
It's beautiful.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about, though.
Yeah. I think Mark knows the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Trying to...
The hyper stylized birds.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
Let's see.
Yeah, of course, Hungry Boy, I would pick out the ones that are sci-fi. They're just really beautiful.
I can't remember which ones they are.
I'm unfamiliar with this style, Hungry Boy, but you know, it's got like there are these stretched out images, almost like Salvador Dali. You know, some of the images. Can you see them? But I don't know how to refer to them. I didn't study fine art long enough to know how to refer to them. I don't know what they're called.
I'm not sure which one it was now.
Just there's there's one image that you showed us. You skipped over it fast. And it has some beautiful images of some birds, and they're just really, really, really remarkable.
Well, sometimes what happens with that when you click on it, it shows you you can skip to the next picture without the way that Google search works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't find it now.
Really, really. This is gorgeous, though.
Stuff.
Oh, look at the man in the moon. He's beautiful. Look.
Yeah.
And Little No One, of course. Little Nemo is Little No One.
How many people do you know that working that? I agree with that, Matthew Pound. That's a good point. Mike Kaluta was very influenced by. I love Michael Kaluta. Was very influenced. It inspired the Lost Worlds Club. Yes, it did. It influenced a lot. A lot of people were influenced by McKay.
Drunk Waddle, a good artist can evoke the same kind of emotions and paint a scene the same way a writer can draw you into an emotion or moment in time. Yeah. It's you're writing on the mind's eye. And in this case, Drunk Waddle has the idea that you can draw on the mind's eye.
There is. Amazing artist.
There is no reference for it, Raquel, formally. In animation, it is called Squash and Stretch, which began before Mickey Mouse. Oh, there it is. There it is.
That's the one. Yep.
Okay.
There it is. Oh my God.
Go back to
that one.
This is the one. Oh my God, this is phenomenal. I wish I could blow this up. I wish I could cut out each one and put it in a beautiful, deep shadow box, black frame with a white mat on it, and put it in my entertainment room. This is this is amazing. Look at the elephant, but it's not an elephant. It's an elephant crossed with some type of billy goat, and also crossed with some type of man or dinosaur. It's amazing. And then look at this beautiful penguin, but he has like almost like a stretched out toucan beak. Yeah. Just unbelievable. But it's a penguin, and just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I love this. This is almost as if Dr. Seuss went science fiction and he decided to be a little more serious. And I love how they refer to it in animation, squash and stretch. This is squash and stretch science fiction, and I just love it so much. This is great. This flowery sort of creature that looks as though it's a snake and a dragon. It's a snake, it's a dragon.
Some of the greatest art ever created, and nobody. I mean, I wonder how many people at Marvel or DC now know who Winsor McCay was.
Yeah,
I wonder.
That's unbelievable. That is so just cray. I love up at the top. You get this idea of a cross between like Dr. Seuss and what's the guy that my husband always cosplays? He has a little white dog. He
cosplays?
Yeah, my husband, it's the easiest cosplay, so my husband just throws it on and people love it. The brown pants, he has a little white dog.
Tintin?
This the top two images in Little Nemo, on the top two images on the left, they look like a cross between Dr. Seuss and Tintin.
Yeah, it could be. I'm sure they copied the style a little bit. Yeah,
so
I love Tintin.
Cool.
Of course, a classic French comic, and that movie was fantastic too. That Rotoscott, that Tintin movie. Of course, I with the side of the family being Swiss French, so I always had Tintin comics, and I loved the science fiction ones. We went to the moon, and those are great. They're graphic novels, I guess. I don't know if you consider them comics or graphic novels, but I had them in first I had them in French. Like you have to read them in French first before we'll give you the English version. But
that's good.
They're great,
You'd
great,
fit in here in Canada.
Great stories. Yeah,
I love how the giraffe's neck, he's striped it's like a zebra, but he's a giraffe. And look at how he has a horse's face and ears, and his neck is in a knot. And then it's bent like at a 90-degree angle. This is so cool.
Little Nemo in Slumberland is what it's called.
So cool. And look at the fish.
They did gigantic, really tall, huge reprint books of this, really flat and tall, because it was in a different. This was in these papers or whatever, these publications back then were huge.
They were
like Life magazine size. Or
I've
something,
seen
bigger.
them. I've seen them in real life.
And they were nice. I guess they were like supplements in different publications and papers and what have you. But it's not technically not a comic book, comic strip. Not even a strip either. I don't even know what the hell you want to call it. What you call it? So.
Clubby, why don't they recreate these and turn them into giant table books? I sure would have one of these as a table book. And I agree with Hungry Boy. The penguin toucan is outstanding.
They have done these big old reprints of them.
Really?
Of them. Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Maybe not recently. Who did that? Hungry Boy, was it Fantagraphics that did it, or was it someone else? I can't remember. Maybe, but yeah.
If not Waddle, what do you think of that toucan penguin? You got the hots for that bird there, Drunk Waddle?
I found the Gertie. The cartoon has been restored by
the animated.
If you want me to show, restored by the National Archives. Well, it can't be a copyright on that, right? That's.
I don't think so.
Has it been 100 years?
No, it's from 1914. I think we're.
So it's been 100 years, over 100 years.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if you want to try to show it or not, but
you can, sure.
We should be safe after 100 years, isn't it? 100 years? I believe it's 100 years.
Share
I doubt anyone owns it. It's in the archive, right?
Share screen, and I'm not going to share the audio because it doesn't.
Yeah, don't do that.
It won't have
there's
any
no
audio.
It's a silent.
It's silent.
Film.
We didn't have audio yet.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the beginning here. Yeah.
But if there's a voiceover or anything, you don't want to show it.
So.
Yeah, I think we're safe with this.
It's not. It's just 23 seconds. Or how many seconds?
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm not sure how.
Let's make sure we talk through it so that we're doing commentary. Museum of Natural History, New York City.
Yeah, and I don't think Will Wheaton has watched this one, so.
Yeah. This is amazing.
Yeah, but this is.
It's restored too.
Yeah, so they found some of the lost footage. I don't know why they're showing this right now. Let me try to, if I can skip. Yep.
Creator of Little Nemo and the Dreams of the Rarebit Fiend. George McManus, creator of the Newlyweds, bringing up a father. Let's George do it. What are the Cardinals, humorist, and others.
So, let's see. I'm just going to
see
the dinosaur.
To be loud. I'm going to have to go to mute.
Dogs finished all their snacks. Yep. So I guess they're studying the dinosaur skeleton. I guess if you're going to try to animate something, we're going to try to see how it works. So let me.
Even back in 1914, they knew this for a fact. Wesley sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, Troy, Netter, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate seeing you.
Thank you so much for stopping in. Sorry that I have to go to mute. My dogs have run out of peanut butter, so they're a little rambunctious. It's puppy time right now. It's the puppy witching hour.
Is this they're going to show the cartoon or just?
Yeah, I'm flipping through to try to. This must be. Oh, here we go. Here's a lot of people have seen. Let me go back just a little bit.
Oh, there we go.
So Walt Disney credited him with all the techniques, and said he was his forebear. And I guess he used to do a vaudeville. I was reading he did a vaudeville show, and he would combine and he'd like here now he's saying make a pretty bow. So he'd talk to the dinosaur. If anyone's seen in Disney where they have the who's the turtle Splash. Oh God, what's the in Finding Nemo? What's the turtle's name? Was it Splash or?
I don't know.
But it's an animated character on the screen, but they have a puppeteer who's actually operating the turtle. So the kids will go and talk. Is it Crush the Turtle or whatever? The kids will go talk to the turtle, and then the turtle will react. There's a person who's doing the voice, and they're actually controlling. It's like a digital puppet, and the kids went so crazy over it. It was so much fun.
This has got to be the first animated thing ever.
Yeah. So when you think about seeing this, to us it looks primitive, but bow to the audience.
Like this before.
Yeah. So, but this is what the Disney attraction would do when you talk to the animated character. They would act and react to what you said in the crowd.
Yeah.
So 150 drawings used to make great animation material because no one invented cycled animation yet. Now raise your right foot.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So back then that was it. Oh, and Stuart was asking me, did you ever read Lucky Luke or Asterix, the Gall comics? Nope, I don't think I've ever read any of those. I don't think I've read any.
Where's Stuart? I don't see Stuart's.
Oh, it's further back, further up. Yeah, just below Wesley Sucks.
We used to sell bunch of those albums, the Asterix, the Gall albums, and the Lucky Luke ones back in the 80s. We ordered a bunch of those for a shop I was working at, and I've read some here and there. But I know Asterix very well. I know those. I know of them for sure.
Well, I'll just flip through because it's
cool.
Gets repetitive. But,
did you ever see that John Carter animated the animation they almost did in the 30s? Cartoon that almost got made by the Fleischers.
No. They almost did it. Fleischer almost did it. John Carter.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. God, that would have been good.
And we didn't get it. And
sorry, but they said he would enter the show like this would be. This was him entering. He'd walk on the stage, and now he'd. And so he's like, "Yeah, great. He'll take me for a ride." So he entered the animation realm here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Astonishing. Just amazing, dude. It's just
great idea.
Yeah. Just great stuff, dude. Oh man.
Yep. So I guess
paying the bet.
He probably made a bet that could animate. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading too that he was at an award ceremony, and Fleischer introduced him, and he was kind of drunk, and he started yelling at the crowd like, "No one appreciates animation." He said it's a true art form. So it was interesting to, like you said, he was before his time in terms of his craft and what his innovation. So it's a guy that's kind of lost to time, I think too. Most people, Tesla's really made a comeback in terms of not publicity, but just being more well known for his discoveries and his issues with Edison and. But I don't think most people know about McCann. I didn't really know much about him either. But it's interesting to go, dig deep into this stuff and find out a little bit more about some of the pioneers of animation and cartooning.
Yep, he is one of the. Like Hungry Person is the Tesla.
Yep, that's a good analogy. Yep.
I wonder if I can get in trouble for showing this one. It's old. It's old. And it's just like a little video that shows some of the never before used. It was proposed in 1936. I'm familiar with the name Bob Clampett. There's a big name in animation. He approached Edgar Rice Burroughs of Tarzan fame about creating theatrical shorts based on the character John Carter of Mars. Clampett and Burroughs' son, John Coleman, worked nights and weekends for a year creating the material included here.
You got to be. I mean, that's that. I mean, the Fleischer cartoons from Superman are in the public domain for years, so I can't imagine that.
Okay.
Those would. I mean, use your judgment, but I can't imagine those would be copyrighted. Yeah.
Let's see here. There we go. All right. Has anyone ever seen this? Okay, you ready? Yes, I'm ready. It's good. It's not. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not long. It's just a little bit. They didn't make it all, but they showed they worked on like a little promo thing on it. So, anyone is? I mean, this I would want. Man, I would have loved to see this.
Wow.
All right, here we go. There's no. I don't think there's any audio anyway.
It can't be that old, right? Yeah.
No, so I guess we can't get in too much trouble for showing this. There we go. It's on YouTube. Yeah, but that never matters. Sometimes it don't matter too much there. But here we go. That's just some preliminary stuff right there.
Yep.
You still with us, Raquel?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Man, a John Carter cartoon. But this is just like some of the sketch stuff. I'm about to show. This is going to show something pretty cool in a minute. And it would have been with great animation like the Fleischer Superman cartoons.
That would have been beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. Man, a John Carter cartoon. Anyone else like that John Carter movie they did in 2012? I loved it.
I absolutely loved it.
They should have called it Warlord of Mars. The title was
the
title is a bad title, bad marketing for that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was Taylor, the guy from Friday Night Lights. I almost said Friday Night Tights. Taylor Kit, which is
his
pretty
casting
good.
took getting used to for me, but yeah. Oh man, but if Fleischer been able to go all out on this,
too. Well, yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Princess
of Mars, the Gods of Mars, the Mastermind of Mars, the Black Pilots of Mars, the Atmosphere Factories of Mars, all named after books and stories. Rotoscope, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Reddish Copper. Have you ever read any of those? Those books are great.
Yes, I have them.
Oh, you have the John Carter's? They're great.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing.
Yep.
Man, I guess, back, he really writes. Edgar Rice Burroughs is very detailed in his prose.
Yep.
To the point where a fanaticism, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was nothing much to that, but it'd been nice to have it happen.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, the puppies are something else, you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we've kept everyone long enough tonight, I think, but it's been fun hanging out at the clubhouse with everybody.
Oh, I had a blast. I had such a
fun.
Wonderful time. And it was great. We transitioned to so many interesting topics, and I think everyone had a wonderful time.
And we even mentioned bacon.
And once again, this was pretty much exactly like so Clobby's whole idea behind this show is that we would talk in public the same way we speak to one another in private. This is what we do when we're hanging out together. And this was very organic, and it was very much like how we talk off air. So I think it was a big hit, and it was wonderful.
It was indeed, and you all make it so. And I just wow, what a great crowd we always have here hanging out with us. You guys are all amazing. Just so cool to have you hanging with us, just sitting around talking about just stuff, geek stuff, of course. So yes. Before we leave, of course, I will have my wonderful first officer tell us about her work, and of course, there's a link in the chat to Mark's channel as well, because he does videos and stuff. Sure.
Yes.
We do them at the same time, right, Clobby?
Yeah, we'll work on that.
You guys, remember, I sent you a PowerPoint presentation. One of my seminars.
You did.
Read, you guys. Go to the seminar. And don't forget that Mark's a maker. And he made the coolest doomsday machine. You must check it out. Also, I recommend you avoid his enabling videos unless you really like cool stuff. I write science fiction short stories. I'm putting together a science fiction short story collection, and until I can drum up enough support for them and reader support for them, I'm selling them separately on Amazon and through Kindle. And all you have to do is look up R.M. Briggs to support my work. They're only 74 cents per story American, and I ask that you leave a review if you love it and you enjoy the story. I could really use your support and your help. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you. And thank you both for hanging out with us tonight. We
appreciate it. Great time.
Hanging here. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's always fantastic. And let's see. What Void Cloud's Wonderful World of Magnificent Bee video. That's coming.
Deep fried turkey. I'm sorry.
My second part of my Clobby's Comics Corner video will be out tomorrow. And join us Saturday night, friends. Listen to the puppy.
Clobby.
They can't wait till Saturday night, the puppies.
Clobby, what is Stuart Mitchell saying? He's saying, it just jumped a whole bunch. Raquel, can we please have a director's commentary on Bye, Wesley, before you go over House on Saturday Night Star Trek? I'm not sure what you have in mind. Do you mean play the video and then talk about how I developed it? Or would you just like me to go, Wesley sucks, Wesley sucks, Wesley sucks? Yeah. Is that what you mean by director's commentary?
We might get in trouble if we do any more commentary on it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if folks know this or not, but the video got flagged for copyright, even though it definitely falls under fair use. Yeah, I'm just wondering if somebody complained about it because they didn't like us picking on Wesley, or what happened there. So it's a little disappointing, but you can definitely see it on my channel, and you can definitely see it on Saturday Night Star Trek, and I think Mark showed it on his channel as well.
Yeah,
and that's us.
I got tagged too.
That's us just flipping the bird.
I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. But
exactly.
Hey, look, someone did whine about it when we were showing it the other night in the chat, and then he ran off like a little butthurt baby. So could have been that. And if you're hearing me, you're a butthurt baby biatch for that.
It wasn't very nice, especially because, you know, I am a communications and technology scholar. So I did follow fair use in its sincerest form, and with the utmost respect for the IP. It was a full collage. Everything was fully transformed in the video. I did use a copyright disclaimer on it to let people know they could not reuse the images, and the entire video, all of the video material, carried a stamp that showed the copyright of Paramount, Paramount Plus, CBS, Viacom, and National Amusements. So whomever complained about the video after it was passed by YouTube, no problem. That was not very nice of you, because what you did was not sincere, and what we did was absolutely sincere. We offered commentary in a fair use way, in a sincere way, upholding all of the rules. So that was kind of nasty. So whoever you are, you're not very nice. And you really upset Clobby, because Clobby doesn't like it when people pick on me.
Yeah, and you're also a little punk biatch who I would smack upside the head. Okay, I threatened violence. Now I'm really in trouble.
No, he doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean it.
Yeah, in a rhetorical sense.
Yes,
he would making you watch Star Trek Discovery kind of way.
Yeah, just go. I just got
a flash that the next episode of STD is out. Just flashed on my email.
Ew. Stay away from the filth. If you need the Clobberin, one is standing by.
I did watch the first episode. Oh my god, it's just so horrible. It's just so poorly written.
Why do you do that to yourself?
That's less time in purgatory.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Seems like more time. Well, anyway,
I love you, Eric.
And they mentioned they mentioned Admiral Picard in the series, because they might transfer one of an invisible character to a new body, and they said, "Oh, we tried this technique, worked one time with the famous Admiral." But they didn't say Picard, but I was waiting for them to say Picard, and you know
I should have.
But this technique has not been perfected. It's like, oh my god, oh god. So yeah, put me in an android body and give me a finite lifespan. How does that make sense, right? Oh, we don't want to get into that now. It's late.
Stupid is dumbest. So dumb. I love you, Hungry Boy. I love you, Eric. Thank you very much, and I love you, Stuart. I love you all. Thank you for your support.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. We're going to run now, and of course, kudos to our wonderful first officer for this lovely intro outro for Clobby'S Clubhouse. Don't forget to join us for Saturday Night Star Trek, and remember, as always, clobber on, clobberers. Later.
Bye.